It's like you have to have 100 followers to go live.
Yeah, well, they changed a whole bunch of shit. That's like the Facebook recommendations. I think we already got that. I think I think like we did like a whole like like our shit a long time ago, and I think we got up to a G. So we're up there with the followers, but still, like for them to change that so late in the game, like come on, Sony and fucking Helldivers 2, like what a way to fuck it up in the end. But the clips and all that stuff that StreamYard's using is a lot better. So I like that they're improving and constantly like building it up. But there's still some stuff they need to fix because it's still kind of janky.
Yeah, all the AI shit's fucking coming in handy, bro.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, Canva for life, dude.
Facts,
Canva
bro.
for fucking life.
You know that's my jam right there, bro. Fucking Canvas.
Everyone's jam. I've been seeing everybody using it. It's crazy.
Yep.
Shut up. What is up? Welcome back. It's Friday. It's Sunday night, and you're here with the Average Boys Podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I am joined by my homie and my good friend from Adam Collections, David. David, what is up, my dude? I feel like I haven't seen you in like what? It's been like 2 weeks already, right? 2-3 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks, bro. 2 fucking weeks.
How's it been going, man? I know you started your new. They started you on your new schedule at your work. You know, you're back in the grind of doing the corporate laying in. How's it been going?
Well, I feel like every other rape victim, bro. Thank you, sir. Can I have another?
Yeah. I feel like the reach around is the real thing. No, but how's it been going, man? How's it been going?
Well, it ain't bad, bro. I was over there helping out some stores, and then now I'm back in my primary location. And then, it's just an easy gig. There's nothing to complain about. Schedule kind of sucks, but my boss is cool. He's giving me the days off that I need, which is like for Adam's games or whatever.
Yeah.
So like I can't complain. The driver's a motherfucker, but it's cool. But my biggest question to you is, how's the what was it? Did you come up with a name yet for the Red Room or Illuminate?
We are sitting on two names right now, and both of them are kind of like up there. We'll put them out there so people can get the idea on what they're vibing with. But one of them, of course, was Lumina Media Studios. Lumina being Lumina ISO Studios or something like that, with Lumina, something with light, the idea of like the light fixtures and like the scientific name for light in the sense of studying. And the other one is Pixel Media Studios. And I'm kind of like, I'm digging Pixel. Pixel's pretty cool too. So Pixel Studios or Pixel Media Studios or Pixel something, like I dig them. They're fun. They're cool names. It's kind of catchy. You could see it really cool. Like I feel like the Pixel name can be something like on a card, like with like different colors, like making it look very like a cartoony. You know what I mean? Like there's something about it that's very Pixar, very, I don't know, like old school Disney that you can kind of mess with. And the think tank of it is it's not going to be a photography studio, so it needs to have that vibe that it kind of encourages many different venues of art. So I'm digging Pixels, man. I'm digging Pixel Studios.
Pixels is good, bro, because it's just I feel it's more easier to make a graphic design for it. That's universal.
Yeah, like it's just an easier name to mess with, right? Yeah, but other than that, it's been going pretty good. This past week, we're about to drop the video for Refugio Grupo, which is the group that came by this past week and did a big ass performance. This guy's really, really popular. One of those like Peso Puma kind of guys. Like he's really, really up there in the Latin music world. And he came in and did his after party. They did a huge sold out party at the arena or concert at the Bird Ogden Arena, and then came through to our place and did like a big after party, which was real crazy. And then this past week I did a photo shoot with two bandas, right? Which is like the Mexican style, like corrido bands. One of them was called El Leones de Norte. Not El Tigres de Norte, Los Leones de Norte. The Lions, not the Tigers. I told them we're going to get the Bears next. The Bears of the North. The Lions and Tigers and Bears were Wizard of Oz. And then the other one was called Y Los Amaros. And one of them was two guys. And I did like almost 400 photos.
Damn.
And then the sixth band, there was a band with 6 guys. That was like 780 photos, almost 1,000 photos in all. And I got to edit them, cut some out and turn them into PNGs, and then um, like do like a headshot style editing for some of them to give them some stuff that they can use for their own branding. So it was crazy, man. I mean, fuck, it was a lot of shit. And then yesterday we had, of course, big Nate dog Nathan and our boy Alex Sharpie Muscle come through, and they did a photo shoot with a couple of the cosplayers doing a bunny shoot. So a bunch of girls there at the shop, all in bunny costumes and shit, running around
Bunny
doing cool
suits.
stuff. Bunny suits, bro. And I'm not talking about like George Carlin bunny suits with a dildo, not that kind of bunny suits. But I'm talking like, the little cutesy cosplay ideals that these people do for like cosplay events and stuff like that. They came through. It was pretty cool. We did about 2 hour shoot. Really fun, real fun. So other than that, on a personal level, like it's been a pretty basic week. Out there just hustling and grinding, man, trying to get on it. We had some interesting stuff pop off this past week. You and I were watching it. I ended up getting involved, but there was a person that came out and was talking about a local event this past week. And, I wanted to ask and kind of probe for a better explanation of what he was talking about. And, we ended up talking, and it was pretty interesting what he was saying. But did you get to see what we're talking about? I mean, you messaged it to me, but did you get to see like it all kind of like unfold and stuff?
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm all about the drama. Actually, I talked to Margaret yesterday when I was at work, like towards the end of my shift or whatever. I had called her. She was busy, and I was saying like, "Hey, man, shit happens." And I did see the drama unfold, and I can see it from both sides. The approach might be a little fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's some valid points, bro. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, like when I was talking to Margaret, and I told you this before, and I said on the podcast, like, I had my reservations for PokeFest, right?
Of
And
course.
I've always kept my reservations the same. I've explained why. I even told Margaret, not even in like a disrespectful way, but if it were to come to her attention, like, oh, David's talking shit. I mean, I'm just talking the way it is, regardless who's in front of me. But am I gonna tend to check it out? Of course, me. And to my understanding, the other individual wanted to have like a more TCG based thing, bro. But at the end of the day, like, you gotta be able to provide, that service, those right vendors that people are gonna spend money for.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's gonna drop any money for vintage Pokemon cards that are in the $500, $600, $700, bro. It's like getting Robert Downey Jr. for Comic Con, and then you find out his signature's $1,000, and you're like, well, no, I'm fine. Like.
Well, it was kind of interesting, right? Because when I'm not what's his name? I can't even remember his guy's name, but it's like
Root.
Roll something, right, or something.
Yeah, it's Root. Yeah.
Oh, Root, right? And he's a local vendor also, right? Like he does kind of like the same concepts, or he's kind of like in that realm.
He's like
Of
in the card world, yeah, like the card, like TCG world, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Sports cards and stuff like that. So.
and I don't know. By my experience, that's what I was kind of going with. Is I was kind of like wondering, like, okay, cool. Like this guy, he's putting some information out there that he believes that the show needs to be better. And here on the show, on our podcast, and of course, and yours more actually, is where we kind of sit down, talk business, and say like, what is it these other shows need to do that we think, in our opinion, constructive criticism, sometimes tough love, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, or just sometimes straight, just calling out motherfuckers for being pieces of shit. Like it's one or the other. Me, not on here. I don't really do it too much because like Triggs doesn't really like to talk about it because he's like, I'm gonna go to church, or I don't know what he does. And Brian lives in New Jersey, so he doesn't even know like any of the people we would technically be talking about. So it's kind of like a lose-lose. I'll be up here talking to myself, and Brian will be like, bro, you're just bitching for no reason. Like, you know what I mean? Like Brian will be like, no one cares about the valley, dude.
You want to get on tonight, Chris?
Yeah. So like it was very interesting because not a lot of vendors or not a lot of people like poke out and kind of like speak their opinion. I think we're kind of casually like the only guys that do that kind of bring it out and talk about it, which is, it was cool to hear someone talk about it, but I don't know, there was something about it that just felt weird. Like I didn't feel like the things he was saying really affected what Margaret does per se for the event. Because Margaret does it slack. She has fucking people dressed up as Pokemon. She has fucking cutouts with Pokemon. All the advertisement is Pokemon and everything like that. This guy's literally like, man, I really wish the convention center would have a giant Pikachu on it or whatever. And it's like, bro, that's not Margaret though. Like you're complaining about something that's like not even in their power. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's one of those things. Like, I guess in my opinion, what I thought he was saying was he thought like that the vendors themselves need to do better.
Yeah.
Because I don't see it any other way. He's literally like, oh man, I really wish people were out there only selling Pokemon stuff or only doing things themed around Pokemon or this and that. And it's like, well, Margaret doesn't sell. She just has a spot and then rents out the spots. So he's saying that the vendors, the ones that put their rent down or their money down or the 300 or whatever it costs per table, are the ones that need to do better. And they're the ones that need to sell only specifically to Pokemon because other stuff isn't Pokemon, I guess. But like, how do you feel about that? Like, I was kind of like, dude, if I was putting $300 down on a table for an event and someone was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I know you sell variety of stuff at your mom and pop shop or your fucking brick and mortar, but like, here I only expect you to sell Pokemon. I'd be like, bro, fuck you. I need to make money. I need variety. If I sell just Pokemon and I get 5-year-olds, there's no way I'm selling a $300 Charizard. Like, what the fuck is the kid gonna do? Like, I'm not gonna make it that way. So, like, oh, even cooler, Nico just popped in. So he's a vendor also. So, Nico, what is up, my dude? Happy Father's Day or whatnot. I don't know if you do Father's Day stuff, but Nico,
hey,
there you are. There you are.
There you go.
What's up? What's up, man? How you doing?
pretty good, pretty good. Hey, David, nice haircut, bro. Golly. So fresh and so clean.
Oh, thank you. We blush.
So, Nico, you just got on the podcast. Welcome back, man. It's good to see you. Hope you had a good Father's Day with your family and all that stuff.
Thank you.
Let me catch you in. So this past week, there was a guy that put like a post up that I jumped in on the chat with, and it was kind of interesting. It was an interesting like conversation we had online, right? Hey, what's up, Lemon? Good to see you in the comments, man. And this guy was talking about PokeFest. He was saying that PokeFest kind of sucks, or there's something about it that he felt was like very inadequate, and it wasn't Pokemon enough. I had the opportunity to like converse with him on his chat, and it was pretty cool. But like, coming to what we were talking about and stuff, like it kind of got to the point where it was like he was complaining more that there's not enough products being sold or foods being sold that are not in themed for Pokemon, right? That go with the show, which to me that's more targeted at the vendors and the people that are selling stuff that they need to, I guess, up their game and sell nothing but Pokemon. But I'm going to put this question out to you just like I did to David, because you guys are kind of more into the realm of the people that rent spots, go out and sell stuff. If you were going to do an event like PokeFest, what are the odds that you have nothing but Pokemon and then you make like even like sell completely great compared to having like a variety of different IPs on your table?
Okay, well, first off, me, for example, yes, I do carry some Pokemon. I'll have plushes, I'll have action figures, I'll have loose individual cards, I'll have packs of cards, like sealed product. But dude, I have a variety of mixture of shit, bro. Like, I'm not just gonna limit myself to one fucking topic. Like, not everyone that's gonna be there is for Pokemon. Like, let's say, like me as a father, let's say I like Marvel, I love DC and stuff like that, but Pokemon's not my thing. I'm just there at the event for my kids. My kids might be into Pokemon. Doesn't mean I'm into it, I know a little bit about it, stuff like that. But for those people who are into other things, dude, I'm not just gonna close myself off to one particular like subject or one item. Like,
do you feel like that's like a self-sabotage to do something like that, or like a huge risk?
It honestly, I think it is. It's a major risk, because the thing is, it's like I said, yes, it is a Pokemon related event. That doesn't mean you have to limit yourself just to Pokemon. Like, like as a vendor, you gotta think strategic when you do these things. I cannot just limit myself to that one particular thing. Like I said, not everyone's into Pokemon. Just because it's a Pokemon event, there's going to be parents, there's going to be brothers, sisters that are going to be there, and for all you know, they're into other things. They're into anime, they're into My Piece, like My Dragon Ball, stuff like that. So you can't just limit yourself to Pokemon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what would you feel? I'm David. Well, David, what about you, man? Like, what do you feel about that? Because like
Bro,
you were the one that you were the one that kind of hit me up and was like, "Hey, Chris, did you see this? This is crazy, man! Like someone
yeah.
else is finally talking about some shit." And then we got into it and we were like, "Whoa, it's kind of
Kind of
off,
weird.
man. I feel like that's not right. Like there's something about this that's just not right, right?"
Yeah.
But how do you feel about it? Like, I mean, you kind of like read it and saw it all transcribed, like kind of like through and through and stuff. But like, how do you feel about the conversation? Well, not the conversation, but just the idea in general. Like being okay. First off, let me ask both of you because I don't even know. Bare bones, like how many vendors are at PokeFest?
Oh, bro, I think she had at least 30. I think.
Like 30 overall, at
I think
least,
she
like
had 30.
minimal number 30.
I mean, I had a map, but I'm not gonna go through the messages for it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I'm not gonna count all the fucking
I'm
squares
not
on
gonna
the
count
map.
them all,
Is
but I
that-
know she had a good amount.
Wait, we're talking about PokeFest, the one in the
Well,
McAllen
table.
Convention.
The one in the
Table.
McAllen Convention Center.
How many vendors?
Yeah, how many vendors? Yeah, that's what I'm
Oh
asking.
shit! There's a lot of vendors, bro.
Yeah, because the person that had posted up said there's not enough Pokemon vendors. Like everyone should be selling Pokemon. And it's like, well, you're looking
Okay.
at
Look. First off, not to cut you off, but I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay.
This individual, I'm not gonna say any names or anything like that.
Yeah. We're not trying to do any personal
no bad
attacks.
rap. But look, I get it. This person is trying to make a splash in the Pokemon industry, the here in the market.
Mhm.
He's trying to make a splash here. And yes, it is a he. I know. I think I know exactly who you're talking about. I'm trying to put all the pieces together here.
Yeah.
But realistically, this individual, I'm not gonna say anything bad. He's pretty cool. He does his own little events every once in a while. He'll host tournaments with Pokemon cards.
I didn't know
He does live pack openings, stuff like that. He's doing fairly well for himself. He moved to a different city, a different location from his original spot.
Okay.
And he does have a quite a bit of a small following here locally. I believe he's in the PSJ area. But yeah, man, like with all due respect to the guy, like he's putting in his dues and stuff like that. But for you to say stuff like, hey man, like you cannot just come in and start bashing other people's events. Like he's trying to set himself, like he's trying to like submit himself as like one of the guys for Pokemon, which is great. More power to him. I wish him the best.
It's branding, yeah, it's just branding.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, dude, that's not the way to start a conversation. You don't go poking around at people and start, hazing or like you're just messing with people at this particular point. And honestly, it depends on how people take it. We, us as vendors, and even the other individuals who are hosting the event, they can take it two different ways. Like, wow, this guy's a cocky motherfucker, and if he does something and if it goes bad for him, dude, I'm sorry, but you got a big mouth. If you're going to do something, if you're going to host an event, go for it, but you better make a splash, because if it backfires on you and you're talking all this smack, it's not going to end well for you in the long run if you try and host another event.
I think it just turns into like another like a Johnny Zamora Super Anime Reborn kind of thing, where like they went off and when they were doing Bonsai Con, they talked mad shit about Ramsey's event. And they were like, we're going to do better. We were the original. You watch. If we're taking all the customers and all the people Saturday, don't complain because you didn't want to move your date. And lo and behold, they do Bonsai Con and nobody fucking showed up. Like it was really, really a shit show. And at the end, they were just pointing fingers like, well, I'm not the owner. That's the owner. This is the owner. It's his fault. It's that fault.
But,
like
kind
of like that, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing though, man. Like you can, it's like me and David on David's podcast, the pre-recorded one.
Mm-hmm.
We had our general ideas of, it's like they say, there's always room for improvement in this type of event, and people are always trying to make these events better. Every year they're trying to top themselves, trying to make it better. They're trying to get the attendance to go higher, stuff like that. And it's great. But if you're going to come in and start talking smack, some people might lose respect for you in that sense. Like, yo, man, like seriously, like, just go with the flow and just enjoy it. This is we're here to have fun. It's Pokemon, for crying out loud. We all love Pokemon. We grew up as Pokemon fans.
Oh, well, chill. I mean, I'm all right. I'm not like a huge fan.
Yeah, but the thing is, dude, there's plenty to go around for everybody, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, it's like fucking 20 years old, man.
You
I don't
know,
know,
but
bro.
that's the thing though. Like I wish the guy well. If he does decide to make his own event, hey man, I hope it goes great. I hope he makes a splash. You know, but yeah, I don't think he's going about this the right way. Just saying stuff like that.
Yeah, it was kind of like it's like, we said David had kind of like brought it to my attention and was like, "Yo, did you see this? Like someone's talking about Margaret and kind of like calling her out." And I was like, "Really, dude? Like there's not a lot of people that do that, but I know it's like ticking time bombs nowadays. People are willing to kind of like come out, especially like, they did I believe the last event that we did was Shinobi Valley, right?
Hmm.
In Shinobi Valley Saturday, it didn't have a big turnout, but the loyalty of the people that were there and everybody was great. But people, kind of voiced their opinion on how they felt. Like, I stepped and had the opportunity to talk with Mad Mario, and he was pretty upset on the fact that like that first day was like not really well. But I
Hmm.
think David, you got to go the second day, and you said it looked a lot better, right? Like it was like there was a
I
little
mean,
bit more people, and he
they
said that
said
he
there was
kind of
more
like broke
people.
even or whatnot.
Yeah, I talked to Mario afterwards, and he said the first day was kind of rough. He said second day was a little bit better, but still rough. But
Yeah,
I mean, the same aspect though, bro. Like vendors take risk all the time, and so do
yeah.
organizers. But everybody wants to get to the level of Comic Con. We talked about it numerous times. Me and Chris, me, you and
Mm-hmm.
Nico, you, me and Brian. Like everybody wants to get to that level, but they don't want to put the work in.
Took the work
And
on.
then kind of like what me and Nick talked about, like, yeah, you know what? It costs $5 to go into PokeFest, which is great, but if you want the show to grow, they might have to up it to 10 at one point.
Yeah,
But use
you got
it
to
the
up the
direct
ante.
way. Use it the right way to grow the show because ultimately, like, you don't want to have just Pokemon. Obviously, you don't want to like just corner yourself in that market. In San Rio, I didn't have any of the Hello Kitty stuff, bro. I had comic books and Funko Pops like Naruto and Demon Slayer, and I sold a good amount. I sold a bunch of pins. Well, I actually sold a lot of pins,
Yeah.
custom made pins and stuff, and it just was shockingly well. You get what I'm saying?
So, like, let me ask you guys then, like, so being that you guys have done events, for a good amount of time, Nico, you've been doing events for a good amount of time, also, right?
Yeah, I'm going
Okay.
on 12 plus years.
There you go. There you go. So, if you had an event like PokeFest, I know, Nico, you've done PokeFest before, right?
Oh yeah, I've done it plenty of times. This
Okay.
is gonna be number 5 or 6 for me.
David, I don't think David's done one, and that's why he was kind of like he was kind of more reserved about wanting to be involved. He wanted to kind of probably witness it first, go to it and be a part of it, and then see what it's like, and then be like, you know what, something I'd like to invest in.
Yeah,
Going to a show, and then we've talked about this before, and what was cool is like we even got Margaret to go out there and solidify the comment that we did, which was we thought there might be a possibility that like, the price change because of the difference in years and the economy and stuff. And she solidified the idea of saying like, nope, it's gonna stay $5, man. I want it to stay $5. So guys, don't worry. Like the event's still $5. Come through. And David and I were saying that $5 entry fee is like that's a no-brainer for families and people just walking around the convention center. Like that's easy, man. And I think
yeah,
going up to $10 make people like kind of be like, $10, that's like a burger at Waterburger at number one. Like $5, that's like value menu. You know what I mean? Like you're really benefiting. So the idea of going out there and being a vendor and getting the amount of people that just every day go to the convention center that don't even know there's an event going on. You know what I mean? Minus the fact that there are people there that are for PokeFest itself as an event. $5 is like a no-brainer for people just to walk in. But
yeah.
knowing that you both are vendors, knowing that you both have this opportunity to rent a spot, being either $175 or $300 a table or whatever it is, if you were told at like a table at 175 or like being the second choice, a table at 300, and the person came in and said, hey, you know what? We're hosting an event. We're going to have plus 30 vendors because we're looking at the minimal number being 30 for what they're doing for PokeFest. And the person come in and say, and I'm only expecting all the vendors to sell Pokemon. Like that's it. We don't want any other IPs out there. Literally just Pokemon. Like that's what we're going for, and that's the theme. What do you do, man? Do you take the 175 and say, okay, we can try that, or the 300? I'm getting. He's just looking at Nico shake his head. He's like, no, I ain't gonna do that shit. Fuck no. Like what's the risk factor? Like, do you jump in on it? Do you say, you know what, like the traffic, the idea of how many people are gonna walk through for $5, like, and I'm selling just Pokemon, I'll give it a try. Like,
All right,
or like,
David, you want to go for this one, or you want me to
Yeah,
jump in
bro.
first?
For sure, bro. What's it called? So for me, I wouldn't limit myself to that one category, only because as a business myself, I haven't grown that category in mind. But when it comes to Pokemon, bro, I that genre that's gonna drop the money is the ones that are our age group and people our age. They're not gonna spend any extra money that they don't need to. So, for example, if they have to pay a mortgage, they have to pay a bill. They're not gonna go and jump in to buy a $5, $6, $700 card, $100 Pokemon, a Funko
Mhm.
Pop, or whatever it is. We would have to downgrade to those more under $20 items for kids, and then hopefully those kids will be there. And a lot of things are, and I'm going to kind of drop this secret here into the podcast if anybody decides to listen this much into it. It's going to be free advice for Nico because he's a vendor. But I've always said it, bro, and the more I say it, it just becomes true. Is you have to be able to penetrate that category for that younger adult, the ones
Yeah.
that have that quote unquote extra money that they're willing to spend. Because if you can't get into that group and you're just constantly relying on people your age and your type of stuff, it's not going to work. And a lot of like these quote unquote like food influencers and so forth, like they're good, like but if they only attract the age group of 35 or I think it's 32 to 40 on the Facebook analytic, you're not really going to get a group that's going to come returning to spend money. They're going to spend one time and that's it. They're going to join one break and that's it. So for me, I want a customer to be repeated. I want to hit that younger audience as much as I can. I personally wouldn't limit myself to the category. I would definitely want to grow the category with my business first. But again, Pokemon's an oversaturated market for me. It crosses the line because it's both like Funko Pops, comics, and then it also goes into like card shows and stuff. So it's a nice category that can flip between both. But I feel like Pokemon will always be more successful with a card show compared to, let's say, like a South Texas Comic Con show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good stuff. Nico, your turn.
All right. Okay, so I totally agree with David. Yes, there are older generations like ourselves, like you said. And yeah, we are a little bit more strategic with our cash. We're not just gonna fucking dump money like crazy. I'm actually kind of stupid that way. If I see a badass fucking card, I probably won't get it for myself, but I'll get it for my oldest son. Huge Pokemon fan. Um, but the thing is, yeah, the younger generation, the ones who are barely getting their first job, stuff like that, they're still living with their parents. They don't pay any rent. They have money to spend. You know, they don't really have that many expenses. They might have a cell phone or maybe a small car payment or something, but the remaining of the cash, they have it in their wallet. They have it in their pocket, and I want it. Um, but yeah, to limit myself just to Pokemon, no way. I'm sorry. I love fucking Pokemon. Don't get me wrong. But there's only so many fucking things that are Pokemon related. I'm gonna clash with everybody else. If I take plushies, there's a fuck ton of people that sell plushies. There's a shitload of people that sell cards.
Yep.
So basically you're just cutthroating each other to see who gets it for the best price.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You can't fucking do that. You have to have a variety of different shit. And that goes back to like, anime, my whole thing. When you think of Pokemon, I think of anime as well. It's an animation. It's based on cards. It's a card game. It's based on video games, stuff like that. So, but at the same time, it has the anime like feel to it as well. So, if you can have anime related items with Pokemon, you're gonna win. It's a win-win situation. But to limit myself just to Pokemon, even if you tell me, oh, the table's 150, I probably wouldn't even do the show if I had to limit myself just to Pokemon.
Yeah. I think it's just too far of a risk, especially with being that the event is held in such a large area like the convention center and that big of a gap to get that much traffic, and then you have 30 vendors all selling the same shit. I mean, it's going to deal by rarity, of course, is probably what you're going to go with. I guess the cards are probably going to be the better opportunity to sell at that because of the fact that there's so many like seasons and different what I guess not DLCs but like drops of like different like series, like the series that the cards have. You can literally like categorize them all over the place, but like having it to where you just sell one IP at an event that big, I don't think it works worth a shit. I think it's just trash. I think everybody fails.
I've heard people say like, "Oh my god, like why don't they bring vendors who have like OG original fucking Pokemon cards?" Yeah, I'm not saying there isn't or we can't get a hold of those things, but it's like David said, you gotta wait for that one right fucking customer that's gonna be willing to spend over $1,000 for that one card.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people that are out there like, oh well, yeah, they only sell plushies and they only sell keychains and little minor things. We want big hitters. Well, yeah, you want big hitters, but you don't want to cough up the cash for them. Like,
True.
it's not that we can't get them. We can fucking get them. But are you going to actually cough up the cash? Like, are you going to cough up $800 for one fucking card? $1,500 for a card?
Yeah, because it's like, what are the odds of these people bringing these like huge vendors down with all this like crazy product and all that stuff? They're gonna want to buy for the price. They're probably used to doing large events like of that nature, right? So they're gonna want to buy like, like the big ass fucking, like that guy. What was it? The one that you were talking about last time, David?
Look,
the one that bought like a bunch of like table booths and shit.
Oh, fucking damn. VTech One and then Zoa, yeah. VTech
Yeah,
One,
like
Zoa.
those kind of guys. Those people are gonna want to buy booths that large, and they're gonna put a lot of cash down. And when they come in, and the economy down here is not in the value of it, like, hey, let me drop $1,000 on a fucking toy card or whatever on an imaginary character, and they're not selling. They're gonna be like, dude, fuck this event. Why did I even put money into it? I lost money.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're from let's say you're out of town, you're out of state, whatever the case may be. I'm pretty sure Margaret has connections that she can probably bring certain people down here, but it has to benefit them. If they bring those huge fucking cards that are worth thousands of dollars, they have to consider the gas. They got to consider the travel. They got to consider where they're going to stay at, their food, and all this other stuff. How much they spent for the spot. It's a lot of money that these people are investing. And if the consumers don't spend that money, they're going to talk shit about the show, and they're never going to want to come back. And they're going to warn other vendors that are out of town, like, hey, if these guys ever invite you, don't ever go. It's a waste. It's a waste.
But to add to that, Nico, and I just want to cut you off slightly because, like, I think at that point, bro, like those actual vendors that have those cards are a different type of vendor. Because for us being local, like, and I'm a prime example of it. Like, I don't have business insurance and stuff like that. Obviously, when I went through the fire and stuff, but these guys have their stuff insured for millions and millions of dollars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when they're bringing that one little fucking suitcase of cards, that's like $2-3 million worth of cards.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably appraised and shit like that, right?
Yeah, bro. Like this is like a legit dealer. This guy's like Dallas fan show type of thing. Like it's a serious buy. So if you're not gonna have a serious customer, then what's the point?
Yeah, and the way I see it, and I'm being completely realistic with y'all. Can I get those cards, or can David possibly get them if we really wanted to? Yeah, we could possibly get some big bangers. But the way I see it, the way I'm going to invest my money, am I going to go out there and trying to get this one card for let's say $1,500 and it's valued at, let's say, a little over $2,000? Am I going to cough it up and spend $1,500 on one item, or did I go out there and spend $1,500 on multiple items so I can make it seem like if I have more inventory? You know what I'm saying? You spread it out, and it makes it look like you have a lot more product. And at the same time, knowing that you got these items at a little bit cheaper, you can sell them a little bit more affordable to your consumers. They're not as high expensive merchandise. You know what I'm saying? So it's stuff that people can actually afford. Yeah, can we get them? Yes, we probably could if we really wanted to. But the truth is, it's like I said, that card is probably going to sit in my briefcase or in my room for like a couple of months until that one right customer comes along and purchases it. I don't have time for that card to sit there and collect dust. I need to make a quick flip, and I need to make my money back because there's going to be other shows. It's not just going to be one Pokemon.
That's crazy. I still think it's fucking nuts, but I mean, yeah, like it's just like what we're talking about is like the idea of it still being like it's just a small $5 show. Like the idea of what Margaret's probably putting out to rent the convention center. Like the guy mentioned that it's like a cash grab, right? Like the thing that the PokeFest is like, PokeFest is a cash grab. And in my mind, I'm like, how? So just throwing that out there, guys, like just, logical thinking, like just fucking thinking like a normal ass human being, like being that the show is $5 and being that, the turnaround to rent the convention center for like a fucking day. What do you think Margaret's putting out there, and how much do you think she's getting back? And do you think she's able to really pocket money when it comes to like the show?
Okay, I've never looked into it personally. I don't know how much. I'm not gonna bullshit. I'm not gonna make up numbers. I don't know how much it is.
No, I'm just saying logical because you don't need to have that. It's just just logical thinking. It's expensive, man.
Yeah, but at the same time, PokeFest is not just Margaret. she has like 3 or 4 other people that are in the same thing. That there's like 3 or 4 people that made PokeFest what it is now. It's not just Margaret.
Okay.
You know, Margaret is probably the most well known out of the 4.
Out of the 3.
Or out of the 3, yeah. But you got to remember, there's other people. So whatever their grand total is, they got to divide that. I don't know what percentage they do. I don't know if it's the whole 33.333% for each one of them. I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
You know, maybe one has a bigger percentage than the other. I have no fucking idea. But, you know, whatever the number might be, it's probably going to be less than what we're thinking. Because there's 3 people.
Wow. So, I mean, fucking, let's just take a ballpark swing then. I mean, I only thought it would be Margaret that would, you know, fucking, now we got 2 extra fucking motherfucking mouths to feed. So, you know, at $5 a ticket entry.
I've gotten the quote for the convention center before, bro.
Okay.
All right.
Well, fucking David's got a little bit more fucking feet in the ground on this one.
I got the quote. Like, I want to say I was gone for 2 years, 3 years ago. We got a quote because we were going to do a show, and we thought about the convention center. We were only going to rent the one big hall with security, because you have to have security, you have to have cops, you have to have I don't know about anymore now, but you have to have the tape and drape before. But it's pretty expensive. I'm not going to put it out there. Obviously, because I don't want to put Margaret's business out there, but it's a good amount of money.
Well, no, I need a number. Give me like a guesstimate or something. This was like 2 years ago. It's already changed because it's more fucking popular now.
I mean,
so I can guarantee the price is already a lot bigger.
All right, is it above 10?
It's like above 10, yeah.
Okay.
This is for a day.
For a day, bro, and that's
Jesus,
because
bro,
back then they had a lot of
Yeah.
parameters, bro. Like, you had to get X amount of cops for a certain time. You couldn't get any other cops. You have to use city mechanic cops.
Well,
Obviously,
for common sense knowledge, David, we got to put this number out there because people think it's a fucking cash grab. Let's put some common sense out there. How much?
It's under 20. I know that.
It's got to be under 20. Yeah, fuck yeah, it's got to be
the
under
last
20.
time. I want to say that when I got it, it was like, I want to say after I did the math. I mean, because I'll give you the flat rate for the room. It was maybe about 15,000.
Okay, let's say 15,000. Damn, 15,000 divided by 5 equals 3,000. You need $3,000, right? Yeah, you need 3,000. No, that's not right either. The fuck?
Wait, how are you dividing it by
5 times 3, 15?
Yeah, you need 3,000 people. I was thinking numbers. I was thinking money. Like, you need $3,000 to rent it. But for 15,000 divided by 5, you need 3,000 people to pull up to that fucking event. In one day, you're looking at 3,000 people. And that's just to break even for the place. Now, you know, I mean, not to mention that, you know, you
table drapes.
Roughly, are we looking at that type of number for them getting that on the door for PokeFest? 3,000?
Well, they got 5,000 and change last year. Remember, she posted it.
Mm-hmm.
If you do
so let's say 5,000 people, right? 5,000 multiplied by 5.
They got like 50. They got like 5,700 last year, bro. Give or take.
Nice. So you're looking at 25,000 that she made that month or that event, right? And then, not to mention that if you get that many people, which they did last year, right? You're looking at like the money you make from the vendors. So you're saying, what are the tables, right? Tables are 300.
About 300 each, more or less.
Yeah, Elizabeth, we do have a PokeFest down here, and she said this past weekend, I think I was at a con in Dallas and Houston, but Houston had some Japanese VAs that hadn't been in America and Texas before, so I can't even imagine how much they spent. That's a good point. And then she put, there's a PokeFest down there. Yes, there's a PokeFest. They've been doing it for several years, and there was a little bit of scrutiny this past week that we're kind of like talking about. Yeah, scrutiny. Someone had an opinion based on it, but interesting conversational piece though. We're looking at $300 a table, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, multiplied that by 30 because that's an extra $9,000.
No, dude, no. There's way more than 30 fucking vendors, bro.
Of course. I'm just saying at a minimal. We're looking at a minimal of 30, just to be nice. But at a minimal of 30 tables, we're looking at $9,000 from the tables themselves. So, like, as a small pillow, you're looking at a pretty good setup there with at least 30 vendors. Because you're close to, you said it was 15 or 12,000? 15,000.
Yeah, about 15,000.
So
I'm actually
9,000
I'm
of
trying to
that.
look for the I'm trying to look for the notes, bro, on my phone
Yeah,
because I
but
had
like
it
at
on me.
least roughly 9,000 of that is pillowed by 30 vendors. So if you maximize it at like 40 or 50 vendors, you know, you do a lot better, 60 vendors, whatever the fuck. But and then it's like, you know, people coming in. Not to mention if they do yeah, they have to pay insurance, David?
Yes.
You have to get insurance and you have to do advertising, bro, because advertising, flyers,
Yeah.
like all that shit costs money, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So it's very interesting in the sense of like, is there money to be made? I've never, you know, and you look like Margaret's not a person that really tries to show off if she has cash or not. But you know, she lives a simple life. Like I'm not looking at her like going on fucking flights to fucking Singapore after the event or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm not seeing if she's doing all that stuff. She just lives a simple life and she kind of just makes it. But
yeah,
like I 100% don't even fucking believe that it's a cash grab at all for her. And I just, it's like you said, there's four other people that are in the group that they have to pay. So yeah, and then she pays the workers that they work there and all this other stuff. She takes care of everybody, man. So you know, not to mention if they have guests or whatever, she's been known to bring in guests from Pokemon. So I really don't see where the big complaint is, but I do understand where this guy's coming from. Where like, there's something lacking, right? There's something lacking. This goes all the way across the board when it comes to most events. It's hard to please everybody. It's hard to please every individual because sometimes you do it good, sometimes you don't. You look at the fucking roster that they had in Harlingen like 2 years ago and the roster of guests that those people brought for Super Anime Reborn, you know, Steve Bloom and all this other fucking like the dude that was Wolverine, like one of the number one fucking voice actors in the world, you know, and only like 200 people showed up. Like, and it was like 8 other voice actors, you know, it was a fucking bust. But like, even with that, what was the comment made, if you don't mind? Oh, hey, what's up, Jayri? There was an individual earlier this week that made a post about PokeFest saying that uh, it's kind of like a cash grab because most of the event itself really isn't revolved around Pokemon, and they should do better because they need to have more Pokemon stuff related, which I think Margaret does fairly well as the event coordinator, setting up theme wise and all the stuff for it. But I think his talking point was probably like saying like the vendor, like you guys are the ones that aren't doing enough. That's the way I took it. So I just wanted to kind of like probe. What's up, Brian? Man?
No.
What's up, Brian? What's up, my boy?
oh shit.
Yeah, he's in the chat. He's gonna come in a little bit later when we start talking about the bigger stuff. So but yeah, we wanted to bring this up and talk about it very quick. And we talked about a good amount. It's because I wanted to get a point of the vendor on how they felt about it. And, you know, Nico, I don't know if you got to see the comment, but from what you're telling me is like you've kind of probably heard about this guy already, and he's probably already had some other talking points. And it seems like more like just like aggravated, like he's just kind of like trying, like you said, like you're trying to poke around, see what he can do, try to ruffle feathers and stuff. So you kind of probably see it the way that I guess I saw it at first, was like this guy's probably doing that because he's probably trying to get up there real quick. He's going to probably host his own event, and he wants to compete with the I guess the bigger of the Pokemon events, which is PokeFest itself. So he's trying to poke at this one so that he can get some attention from it, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So
He's already hosted maybe like I'm not gonna, don't quote me on it, but I'm thinking he's done like 4 events already. Obviously they're smaller, they're way smaller events. But you know, he is growing. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm gonna give the guy his props. You know, he's growing and he's getting his followers. He does his own Pokemon card tournament, stuff like that. And he'll occasionally have like little wrestling bouts, and like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's he bought a house and he turned it into his business, but in the backyard they'll have like wrestling rings and stuff, like little local wrestlers to go and, you know, stuff like
do
that.
they dress as Pokemon also, or
I have no idea. I've never gone as one.
Yeah, I don't know what that has to deal with fucking Pokemon.
Yeah, but the thing is that, you know, like I said, like I seriously think he's trying to make a splash. He's trying to, you know, like build up the anticipation, trying to maybe seem like, if I do one, let's see how good can I get, like, compared to them. And if I bad talk about them, like, you know, like, I don't know, man, like this guy's everywhere. But like I said, I wish the guy all the best, you know, but I think he's just going about it the wrong way, though.
Yeah, it just seems like the same kind of marketing strategy that Bonsai Con did, and that fucking like that fucking yeah, we all know how that went. So yeah, man. I mean, I had the opportunity to chat with him a little bit more. You know, we walked through it, and I kind of feel like yeah, like I kind of see his point. Like he wants a little bit more, but I think it's too big of an ask to do for something at that nature or that size of an event. It's too risky to be like, yo, everybody just do Pokemon shit.
Yeah.
And then if I'm not even mistaken, like if you rent the McAllen Convention Center, the way they are with like food products, like they're like, hey, fuck your food. They buy our food. Like we get concessions, so fuck all that shit.
They make you pay.
Yeah, they make you pay a fuckload for like them having like food out on the market. And if you want to have your own foods, like they'll dice you up, dude.
Look, man, like I totally get it. Like if he's talking about the food or like, oh, what could the vendors could, you know, what could they possibly bring in? Well, first off, yeah, there's a lot of different stuff. Like let's say like boba tea and stuff like that with taro.
Yeah, like Anime Boom, right?
You know, yeah, like okay, don't you think certain vendors wish they could do that, but you're limited. You can't take that stuff in there because the venue sells product in there, so they're not going to allow you to go in there and steal their customers away from them. You know, same thing with pastries. There's Pokemon pastries out there. There's fucking little cakes. There's cookies, shit like that. Same thing. You can't take that in there. You can't sell that crap.
Yeah, because the event center won't.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I don't know, man. Like, I kind of get where he's coming from, but you got to understand, PokeFest started in a fucking local park in under a gazebo. That's how they first. That's how they originally started. You know, like. Now that they're kind of somewhat big and they're in the McAllen Convention Center, now someone's out there trying to poke at them. You're like, yo, man, they had a very humble beginning. Like, you have to start and do the same thing. If you want to talk shit, go ahead, by all means. But you got to start somewhere. You know, if this guy thinks he's going to just go to the McAllen Convention Center and make the exact same results as PokeFest, I guarantee you it's going to fail.
Yeah, good call. I want to bring up two comments real quick. J-Ree runs a pretty solid vendoring corner of the community down here. Dude's been in it for a minute, and he runs a really great shop. Says honestly, there's a ton of Pokemon at the event, but for an event like that, people also want other things other than just Pokemon, like Hot Wheel figures and WWE figures. Parents take their kids, and parents also want things themselves. See, kind of like we're talking about. It would be very, very difficult for even a person of someone of J-Ree's nature who has an established vendoring like name, and people go to him. People like literally look for him at events because he's been in it for so long. Is saying it would be like a lose just to take just Pokemon stuff and try to make it off of that. You have to have a variety.
It would be suicidal financially. It would be suicidal. Don't do it.
And Michael Bedenkart, our boy, says the convention center requires their own products to be sold. The city of McAllen takes a cut as well. So having some type of like you're saying like pastries or like some type of custom bobas or some like even if you had them pre-packaged, there's still some type of licensing that the McAllen Convention Center is going to be like, hey, bro, you know, put it in my hand, put that green, put the coinage in my hand before you do anything like that. So again, like another failure when it comes to that.
It's like, come on, man. Like, let's not bullshit each other. You don't think another vendor has possibly thought of this, like a food truck or something? Like, oh, I'm gonna make bobas or something, or a melon tea, and just put a fucking sticker of Bulbasaur and say it's Bulbasaur tea or some shit like that. Like, come on, bro. Like, you don't think anyone ever thought of shit like that?
Yeah, it's hard because it's just another expense. And I think it's the same way if you want to run some type of like TCG Pokemon event, right? Where you want to have it like licensed to where people can go off and gain the points for different competitions or whatnot. Yeah. Like you have to have it licensed or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, or have someone in that. So that's just more expense. I mean, if the person's willing to do it, maybe someone else, a third party can come in and do it for them. But for them to do it, it's just really hard. I like how everybody's talking about David's 10-year change from his shaving, nuts, bro. But no one said anything about my asshole police mustache, dude. Running the mustache, dude. But Elizabeth comes in and says even the PokeFest in San Antonio had the vendors that weren't just Pokemon. I got Pokemon keychains, Ace Attorney buttons, and I think a Chopper plushie, all at the same one show. I feel having a greater selection of vendors makes a better shopping experience. Motherfucker, that needs to be on a shirt.
Yes.
That is so good. Having that should be like a fucking rule on the top of every convention. Having a greater selection of vendors makes a better shopping experience. Damn,
Because
that's
it's
super
true.
good.
She fucking nailed it.
As long as the main guests, in my opinion, are Pokemon related. Yeah, as long as the event hoster is kind of sticking to the theme, which is what Margaret and her team have always done. I've never heard and seen her do like, hey guys, it's Pokemon. Here's the fucking voice of fucking I don't know, fucking Naruto. Like, here's a voice of some fucking other anime that's not related to Pokemon. It's always been Pokemon related. It's always been Pokemon.
Please feel free to
Good.
use that.
That was super fucking super good. Michael Betancourt comes in again with another one, another left hook for Michael Betancourt. Years ago, when we were running Omnicon Convention Center, we had a third-party vendor come in and sell Japanese cuisines. The cost was astronomical, and that was back in 2013 prices. See?
God damn.
You cannot make the world move without money, man. Michael Betancourt knows this, man. He knows this. Thank you, brother. Thank you. But yeah, it was just a really weird, like, I wanted to bring this up, and I think me and David kind of like correlated in the idea of like, hey, maybe we should reach out to this guy, bring him on the show. But I mean, maybe a week. I'm probably gonna try to see if he wants to. I don't really know what type of person he is, and I don't want it to be where like
he's really out there. Like the guy. I'm not gonna lie. Like he makes his little TikToks, he makes his Facebook things. He's basically like he likes to be a clown. So believe me, like I'm pretty sure he would love to be on this.
Oh, that'd be cool. I mean, it's like having a variety. The thing is I don't ever want to make it feel like the people that we have conversations about or talk about, I don't want them to ever feel like they can't come and talk about themselves. You know what I mean? Like if Johnny Zamora wanted to come on, like I would let that guy come on the show, but he's got to be prepared. Like people are probably going to jump in and talk shit to him, and he's got to be able to handle it. I don't want him to be like, nah, fuck that, and turn off his webcam and just bounce out and be like, oh, well, that was weird.
No, but honestly, this guy seems like he seems like down to earth, pretty cool.
Yeah, he seems like a cool cat. I've seen his he added me up, and I've seen a little bit of his posts. They're kind of funny. So I was like, oh, this guy's like, he's a dude. I like that. He's a dude. So I might want to bring him on the show. I just want to be able to. I hope he knows other stuff than Pokemon, because he's just out there talking about Pokemon. Like I can't do Pokemon for 2 hours, bro. Can you imagine me talking about Pokemon I'll fucking kill myself, dude. Evening, Margaret. We were just talking about the whole comment section. We're breaking it down. We wanted to get a not a bird's eye view, but a boots on the ground idea of like how vendors feel about the concept of what the gentleman had brought up in the comment, on what he said. And it's kind of gone in the favor of thinking like, hey, you know what? Like that seems like what you brought up was more of a vendor issue. But telling vendors that they need to be isolated to one IP doesn't seem like it's beneficial for any cost. So like if this gentleman himself, if he's out there, I don't know if he's watching, I doubt it. We only got it says like we only got like 2 or 3 viewers at a time or whatever. But like if he's out there and he might be watching the show, maybe someone's like, oh bro, this fucking podcast is talking about you, go watch or whatever. We're not talking about you in a bad way.
It's gonna get to him. It's gonna get to him.
Oh, that's cool. Like we're not talking about him in a bad way or anything like that. I mean, I don't even know the guy to talk bad about him. But the idea is like I would like for him to see from other people's opinions if his logic is stature, or like, because sooner or later he's going to run an event and he's going to want to bring in vendors. And if he goes and rents out the convention center and tells everybody I'm bringing in 30 vendors, you can only sell Pokemon, he needs to understand why people are going to say no. Like, you know what I mean? Like he needs to understand why. Like Jayree's been in the business for a long time. We all know this dude, and he runs a great shop. He's been in it for a minute. For him to be like, fuck no, I'm not going to do that. That's like you said, it's like a business suicide. That guy needs to see that so he can be like, well, maybe that's a mistake, and maybe I can find other factors on how I can make it feel more in that nature without having to tell these people that they're limited. I'm not going to be a fucking imperialistic person and try to govern them like a fucking tyrant or something.
Hey, like, Margaret, now that you're in here, how many vendors are there in total for this year's show?
That's a good question. Like Mosca. Yeah, Margaret, if you're in here, I don't know if you're still sitting in the comments. Let us know how many vendors roughly. You don't have to give us a number. You can like give us a small estimate on how many people you usually have as vendors at the table and stuff. 142. Okay, that's even way cooler than we thought earlier, man. That's like a badass pillow.
I told you.
Yeah, that's a badass pillow. Margaret says you need to have a variety in the market because not everyone likes just Pokemon. We have a mix for a reason because it casts a larger net for attendees. That's man, these guys, they have such cool like David Goggins quotes, man. Like Elizabeth earlier with hers, that was so cool. You guys have such cool fucking ways of putting it. I don't talk like I'm just like I'm dumb. I'm just like more people, more money. Yeah, 142 people. That's good. And then of course, like the tables are roughly, like we said, 175 to 300. So, you're looking at a pretty good pocket of making sure that you can cover the cost of most of the stuff from there. And then of course, what's even better is like the attendance. If you're able to market it in that nature and get that, it's almost like having sponsor money with all the tables. Then you can pay for off. Then the money you get from like the attendees is the stuff that you separate and pay off everybody else that needs to be paid off at the show. Perfect fucking plan. Jerry says, gotta go, guys. Lap dance. No, I'm just kidding. But before I leave, I just wanted to let Chris know that I've only used self-checkout once since we last had our conversation. Oh, fuck, that's interesting. Well, shit, it's the future, baby. It's the future. Self-checkout. Dude, what is it? I was just talking about that the other day, that the fucking, there's like a Stripes or something that has the one that you can literally like self-checkout. Like,
I love that Stripes, bro.
It's wild. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a 7-Eleven or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, if you could
check out, that's wild, dude.
I love it.
I still need the lady to help me out. Like I'm some kind of old fuck, dude. Like she's like, here, let me put your beef jerky and Red Bull. And I'm like, oh, thank you. You know what I mean? Like a fucking old person. Like I don't get it. She said, Elizabeth in San Antonio says, I might have to make this 5-hour drive visit plus maybe Halucha. What's that? Where's that? Is that like a place or is that like a wrestling event? I don't know. But yeah, that's crazy. Well, fucking be safe on your trip. But Halucha. Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Say hi to you, bro.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's a Pokemon Go thing.
Hey. Yeah. According to my son, he just told me, he's like, hey dad, that's one of the Pokemon. He dresses up like he's like a bird, but he's like a luchador.
Yeah. You see, I guess because it says lucha. I see your kid's gonna 100% know. I don't know shit about Pokemon, dude. No, I don't know shit.
He's sitting right beside me. He's been listening in this whole time.
Yo, and you know what's crazy? Like I don't know shit about Pokemon, dude. The only one that I thought was cool was Scyther. The green one with the fucking razor blade hands, right? He's a luchador bird. Who would have thought? I only remember when it was like 300 Pokemon or 180 Pokemon. I was in Corpus Christi for an MMA fight with a friend of mine. When they did Pokemon Go, the release, and there was like 350 people on the coastline, like right where the convention center was. And right when it launched, all these motherfuckers just took off walking, and I was walking with them, and I was like, what are y'all doing? Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on. They're like, we're hunting Pokemon. And I was like, this is fucking bonkers, dude. Bonkers. I was blown away by it. I thought it was so cool.
Fucking completely clueless, and you just go with the crowd. Like,
I just thought they were like, I don't know. I thought they were going to do like a rape walk or something. I don't know.
What the fuck?
I don't even know what a rape walk is. It's just a Pokemon thing. Pokemon tattoos equal to Pokemon perch at the fest. LOL. I need to know, my man. That's what is that? I don't even know what that means. Yo, they should have a tattoo artist just doing fucking Pokemon tattoos all fucking day.
No shit.
That would be dope as shit. Or you know what? Even better, dude. Have like the Humane Society bring a bunch of pigeons and have people just throw fucking big ass baseballs. What are they called? The softballs? Just throw softballs at them, dude.
Fucking, oh my god.
Yeah, PETA would totally be disappointed with us.
Yeah, no shit.
Totally. All right, boys, we're going to start getting into the regular nerd part of our conversation. I want to say, of course, thank you guys for tuning in and jumping in with us so far. Talking about some local stuff. Really, really cool shirt. Margaret says, I got a free shirt in Germany because of the Pokemon tattoo and what it means.
Damn.
Hey, that's cool. So you have a luchador bird Pokemon on you? Your son says it's called a Hey Lucha or whatever, right? So Margaret, I'm guessing, has like a Pokemon shirt or a Pokemon tattoo. I had a friend of mine that had like a Pokemon tattoo yesterday too, but let's go ahead and break down first part of our conversation. Okay, wait, we got one more comment. Let me jump that real quick. Michael Benton says, tattoo artists require liability insurance, convention appearance, safety guidelines, and a lot. It was an issue during HorrorCon back in the day. Oh, Elizabeth does. Elizabeth has a Pokemon tattoo. Oh, badass. Well, I figured there would be some type of like insurance for like some type of Pokemon, or not even a Pokemon, but just like a tattoo convention and stuff. But the tattoo conventions that they have here are pretty dope.
Just out of curiosity, if you got a Pokemon tattoo, what would you get?
Your son? Are you asking me or your son? Because I only
I'm
know like
asking
5
my son.
Pokemon, dude.
No, I'm asking my son. Well, what would you get?
I don't even fucking know.
Fucking Pokeball.
What's that fucking glitch? Dude, I would get the glitch. I'd get that glitch Pokemon from fucking Pokemon. It was like from one of the games. It was like a fucking square that had like a bunch of dots on it.
Oh,
and it was just like a glitched out. But your son knows. I bet you he knows.
You recalled it out.
Yeah, I forgot the name. It's like a fucking now. It's like a fucking horror Pokemon thing. I would get that bitch like tattooed on me.
Missing Note? Yeah.
Missing Note, is that what it is?
I guess something like that.
Yeah, dude. It's just like a Pokemon that's like it's glitched out, and you can find it and have it in your Pokédex. I don't know what it does though, but like
he said Alakazam or Gengar.
Yeah, but it's like a glitched out, like it was just like in the background, right? Like they just threw it into like the back behind the maps and shit. But you can actually unlock this thing and have it in your Pokédex. And from what I know, it like freezes your shit out. Yeah, okay, Alakazam, right?
I just googled that shit, bro.
Did you? Are you checking it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason why I like that,
this is the one you're talking about.
Scyther, yeah, that's the dude. That dude is so cool, man. In the cartoon, he's badass. Like, I just think he's cool. He's just a fucking bro. You know, 100%. I'm gonna tell you all, motherfuckers, right now. If human beings lived in a world of Pokemon, bottom of the food chain, baby, we would be like living in caves, just trying to survive. We'd be getting our assholes run in by Digletts. We would get fucked, dude. Can you imagine a bunch of mice in a field just causing lightning strikes out of nowhere? We're dead. We're dead, dude.
Bro, how do you know Diglett out of all the Pokemon?
It's a dick in the floor, dude. That'd be the scariest shit on the planet. You wouldn't be able to sit on the ground. You would not be able to sit. No one is sitting on the floor at a park, dude. No one's sitting at the park just chilling out. You can't go nowhere. Fucking flower Pokemon shooting goddamn laser beams from their backs. You know, fucking giant dragons flying around looking all types of cute and fucking shooting laser beams. Fuck that place, dude. Fuck that place. Are you kidding? I like Scyther. That motherfucker cutting legs off in the park and shit like that. So yeah, dude, that's fucking wild, bro. We'd be the bottom of the food chain in a Pokemon world. What's up, Chewinu, man? Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Like straight, like what do you guys think? Okay, straight up. This goes out to all you guys out there that are all like, I love Pokemon. They're so cool and all this stuff. Do you 100% think human beings are? Do you think we literally imprison these things in balls, or we're the bottom of the fucking food chain? Like straight up bottom of the food chain. Literally, the god of Pokemon flies around in the fucking mountains on the weekend. Like this motherfucker bends reality, bro. He bends reality.
Hey, I didn't know this, but he told me right now that in the actual manga that it does show several characters actually getting mauled.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be like an everyday occurrence. That's the Marvel universe, man. Fuck that place. There's no way. You need like insurance for like superhero coverage, dude, when they fuck your car up, that you're paying like fucking monthly payments, and the fucking Hulk uses it to beat the shit out of like, I don't know, fucking Abomination uses it as a fucking baseball bat, and then you're still paying months on it and shit. We are the taint of the food chain, my guy. Absolutely correct, Shuinu. Like, there's no way human beings are surviving at anything it's the apocalypse, bro. It's worse than the zombie apocalypse. There's no one that can tell me any different that Pokemon, the world itself, is not scarier than the zombie apocalypse. I would rather live in a zombie apocalypse than the fucking Pokemon world. Fucking way. Ain't happening, bitch. Ain't
just catch them all, bro.
No, fuck that, dude. No, man, you ain't catching shit in that world. You're lucky you don't catch a fucking bro. Can you imagine you're just chilling out at a park or like going on a nature trip and a Geo dude flies by and knocks you the fuck out, dude, with his big ass hands like this, dude, just goes by and fucking sucker punches you, plays a knockout game, like just because you're in the wrong hood. Like, just because you're in the wrong hood of the hike.
You know Pokemon, bro. Diglett, Geodude. Yeah.
Place your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. That's not even fucking, I'm telling you, man. Michael Bencourt says, in the Pokemon lore, there was actually a Pokemon a Pokemon fought World War. People were murdered. People were slaughtered by the droves in that one, I'm guessing. You have a whole bunch of fucking like little vine babies, or what do they call the first one you get, the Bulbasaur?
Like I could see you I could see you, since you're an MMA trainee
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
dude.
I could see you with all the fighting Pokemon.
Yeah, and them beating the fuck out of me, dude. Because where I do it as a hobby, they just live that life. You know what I mean? They just wake up and just be kicking everything's ass. They'll have to teach me things, man. I'll be fucking fixing their yards, bro. There's no way I'm training them. Elizabeth, Margaret says, not to mention the ones messing with time and space. Mother, what the fuck? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? There's Pokemon that mess with time and space?
Dialga and Palkia.
Oh, dude, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, those are two legendaries that are doing that.
And they just like fuck up, time and space, and they're just chilling. Like no regulations, no like, hey, don't do that. Like, and then you spray them with water or some shit. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? Like, imagine your fucking cat, dude, just changes time and space in your house, dude. Like, that's what you're fucking telling me. You're wild, bro. Yeah, just stop that, dude. Stop fucking freezing time, you piece of shit. I told you about that. The fucking meow, like it just fucking gives you like a hiss or it says its name or whatever. Bro, I can't. Isn't our I want to say a racist?
Arceus.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it right. I'm gonna say a racist.
It's Arceus.
Arceus is like the god of Pokemon. Son, the Rolodex. Nico, your son, the Rolodex. Can you ask him? He's the Pokedex for today. What is an Arceus? Yeah. Arceus. What is an Arceus? Is that what you just sent me, David? Did you send me an Arceus or what?
No, he did Pokemon.
Oh, yeah, he literally said that. Yeah, he's correct. He's basically the god of Pokemon.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that fucking mean, though? Like, what does it mean by he's the god? Like, what does it do?
He creates everything. He created everything.
Missing no. That's my boy, right? That's a tattoo I'd get. That's a tattoo. Missing no. What does it do? What does it do, Nico, son? I don't know your name, buddy. I'm sorry. Brandon, what does it do, Brandon?
It pretty much created every single Pokemon that there is. It's like an all-powerful deity. It's just full stop. That's it. Controls everything.
And what did he do? Did he make it on like a fucking drunk run or what? Dude, these fucking crazy, dude.
Maybe he just one day decided to just create these hellish creatures just out of nowhere.
He was just like, you know what would really fucking be rad? Like a dick that comes out of the ground that just you don't even know, bro. And then when it evolves, it's 3 dicks. 3 dicks. And then there's a fish that just doesn't do nothing, bro. Like it just
dude. Dude, his fucking voice is deep, bro. God
yeah,
damn.
dude, your son's like a whole fucking Metal Gear Solid character. Damn. Brandon. That's rad, dude. Michael Bettencourt says, no idea. My Pokemon is Mew. And that's as far as I go. Yeah, that's kind of like, that's my nature too in this, right? Like, I knew Mew and I thought he was like the god because he came from like, I don't know, space or whatever the fuck. Like, so Mew ain't shit then. Right? Is that what Brandon and the Pokédex is telling us? Like, you ain't shit, man. Like, oh, that first 180 Pokemon that you guys knew, like, nah, dude, that's like scraping the bottom of the barrel, dude. Like, there's a whole ass dude that just created all this monstrosity, dude. That little Pokemon that he's talking about that created all this shit was like, you know what, dude? I want to create the Void of Warhammer in real life, dude. Oh, he ain't little, man. No,
he ain't little.
No, he's a big motherfucker, and I guarantee he's just walking around downtown McAllen just buying boba teas and shit like that. Like it ain't doing nothing. Like it's just hanging around for no reason, right?
Main gods.
No, you can't. No, I don't know because those people had morals and statures and like acted, real sophisticated. These are fucking animals with just god powers just hanging around. Can you imagine if your fucking goldfish can shoot lasers out of its mouth? It would fuck your whole house up. What is it? Excuse me, Mike's like, someone show Chris this giant white armored 4-legged beast that is the Pokemon god. Yo, I'm gonna look this bitch up.
Bro, I just looked it up right now, bro.
Dude, this guy's definition of him is like fucking spot on, bro. I love it.
What the fuck is that?
Bro, I literally Googled
I bet you this thing is in the Bible, dude. I guarantee it's in the Bible. There's no fucking way. Like, there's just no way. Like, what is that?
Am I pronouncing his name right? Michael Bennecourt?
Let's just call it a racist. It sounds way funnier that way.
That's so fucked up.
He's just a racist. Oh my god, a racist. Someone's like, yeah, who? What the fuck? What do you mean a racist? And then it's a giant fucking Pokemon. Man, you're not kidding. This fucking thing is biblical, dude. I bet you this is the shit that visited what is his name? Ezekiel in the Bible, dude. Right? The one that came down and made him eat some shit, and then he had some knowledge and shit.
A fucking vision.
No, but man, the executors, they're palm trees. What? Oh yeah, I've seen that. I had a friend of mine dressed as that once, and it's like that's just weird. Like there's like weird Pokemon that are like, oh, this one looks like a bottle of mustard. It's mustard con or whatever. Then he shoots mustard or whatever. And then there's just like a bear that squeezes people to death. Like that, like there's a two descriptions. Like, oh, there's this Pikachu. It's a cute little mouse that shoots little electrical currents. And then there's one that's like, oh, well, there's one that skinned a Pokemon and it wears it as its fucking hood, and it wants you to get close so it can fucking eat your soul or whatever. And it's like, yo, dude, who the fuck writes this lore? Like,
Drifloom.
Drifloom.
Yeah, Drifloom. It actually it steals children.
yeah, you see, like I know there was some fucking Michael Jackson shit in there somewhere. Michael Jackson has Pokemon in there that are just like, you know, it'd be crazy. The Pokemon guys sitting around being like, man, we have like 300 and something Pokemon. What do we do? And he'd be like, I mean, it'd be crazy. We had one that just steals fucking kids. Yeah, fuck it. Like, that's a cool power to have, I guess. Driftabloom is nightmare fuel. Oh man, dude, there's way too many Pokemon for us to talk about, guys. Like, that'd have to be like a whole ass episode itself. You know what I mean?
That should be the episode right before Pokefest.
Yeah, let's fucking we'll do like a whole like countdown of like cool Pokemon, scary,
we should rate them.
Pokemon, like wild ass, like don't want to fucking run into this Pokemon in an alley.
Oh, there you go. You see, he said we should do a tier list.
Oh, that would be rad. I think so. Michael Betancourt says, you think Pokemon are bad? You should get into Digimon. I like Digimon. There is literally a Digimon that's just a dragon made out of revolvers. Yo, that's like a drunk Tuesday in my mind, dude. It's like, you know, it'd be fucking crazy, dude. Diglets, bro, but they're cactuses that go up your butt. Like, you know what I mean? I would come up with the weirdest things, bro. Chandler, guys. Chandler. Isn't that the dude from Friends?
No shit.
But they also have ghost
Chandler.
teacups and flying keys and stuff. Yeah, there's got to be some like random Alice in Wonderland shit out there, right? Like flying keys and like a shoe with wings or whatever and a mouth like what is it? Who Framed Roger Rabbit and shit? Like I'm about that. But yeah, all right, guys. You guys are all Pokemon'd out. Oh man, we might get into a whole rabbit hole here. Digimon was weird. Digi-evolution though. Chandelure. This is the Michael Jackson one, I'm guessing.
No, it's not.
That's not it?
No.
Oh, it's just a chandelier?
Yeah, with a fire lit.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Can you imagine just like, they're looking around for ideas for fucking Pokemon. He's in his living room and he's like, well, there's a chandelier.
Hey, bro, you made the money off it, bro. Fuck it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I mean, fucking, yeah, we're gonna make cash or whatever. That's wild as fuck, guys. That is so wild. All right, enough of this Pokemon nonsense. We're gonna get way into it. Can you imagine we're just talking about Pokefest as a show and someone talking about it now? We're like deep diving into like the whole entire like. Let's do the nightmare fuel, guys.
Dude,
Let's
just been googling this shit the whole time. I'm like, what the fuck?
Bro, can you imagine living in that world? I mean, it's the Black King event from Marvel all over again. Just a bunch of like gooey stuff falling from the sky. You also have the Nicki Minaj. I remember the Jinx one. Yeah, that is straight up Nicki Minaj. I like have you ever seen the one that it's like a bunny rabbit that everybody was talking about banging for a bit? There's like a bunny that like it has like a butt or like thighs or whatever, and someone made like a cartoon of like the Joker. He kidnaps Batman, and he's like, "I'm gonna do it, Batman. I'm gonna. Nobody says you can't bang a Pokemon."
Low bunny,
Yeah, low bunny.
Low bunny, right? Low bunny or something like that. Yeah. And there's like a huge like meme about it where it's like the Joker's like, no one's gonna tell me no, Batman. It's a Pokemon. And Batman's like, don't do it, Joker. It's an animal. You can't do that. He's like, no one's gonna stop me. And it's super fucking funny, dude. I love that meme so much. What brand has the weirdest characters? Pokemon, Digimon, or Yu-Gi-Oh? Yu-Gi-Oh. Fuck Yu-Gi-Oh, man. That shit's funny as fuck. I think Pot of Greed is the funniest thing to
Dragon
me.
Quest.
What do you think? Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. What's the weirdest characters? Pokemon, Digimon, or Yu-Gi-Oh?
My son likes Dragon Quest.
Okay,
It's a
that's
whole
from
nother-
that's Akira Toriyama. That's straight up Dragon Ball Z, the creator, right? Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah,
one
he
has
likes-
the weirdest characters.
Well, he loves Dragon Quest, so he's gonna go Dragon Quest.
Okay. What about you, David? I know David's lost his fuck. He just went on a whole like rabbit hole, dude.
I've just been Googling the last like 10 minutes of the conversation, bro.
Slimes are the
I'm gonna
best.
say fucking
Slimes,
Pokemon got some
slimes
fucked up
are the
shit, bro.
best. Yo, Pokemon. I mean, bro, you just showed me a ghost chandelier. Nobody's gonna
100%, bro.
top Pokemon. You know what I mean?
I
In
was
my
like,
opinion,
what the
no one
fuck?
tops Pokemon. Digimon. I'm a big fan of the Digimon, and my vote is there. We have cats that can turn into angel women, and then dragons. Oh, it's just
Yeah.
furries. It's just furries. But you know what though? The company, the studio that makes the movies for Digimon is the same one that made Summer Wars and the same one that made Bell. And it's an amazing fucking company, like an amazing company. If you guys haven't seen those movies, highly recommend it. Summer Wars, Digimon, the first movie, and Bell. Those movies are fucking great. And then this is like, nope, furries are different. I know, but they're crazy, dude.
That's a whole other conversation, bro.
Margaret says, but in regards to the show, going back to reality, coming back, guys, coming back, bringing you back. But in regards to the show, this is going to be our 12th show, and we do have plans for the future, of course. The show is always growing. Indeed. And then she put, we want to expand for areas for the attendees in card games and entertainment. I mean, the last show we went to, hands down, Sonic Boom put on such a great fucking performance that night.
Yes.
Like the going away show for them, like because Josh was leaving. He's back though, which is good. But man, that was such a fucking phenomenal like ending. Like the grand
Dude,
finale.
the music was fucking bad.
Yeah, dude, it was so good. It was so good. Margaret Elizabeth says no, furries are different. Rude. That's funny. But yeah, guys, so let's go ahead and we're gonna move on to our first topic. First topic is gonna be a little bit more on a serious side. This past week we got some pretty bad news. Benny from Comic Storian has passed away. We just want to give a shout out to Benny and his people and all that stuff. Like, it was really sad. It was really, really sad. I took it super crazy hard because Benny, and I don't know if you guys are in the same format, but Benny and from Comics Explained and Rob Jefferson from Comic Story, and then Rob Jefferson from Comics Explained have been such huge icons in the realm that us at the Average Boys kind of like sit at. So to hear of the passing of Benny was like, damn, it was fucking crazy. But yeah, it's super wild. A lot of us in the comic book realm, knew about Comics Historian and of course Comics Explained, and it's the go-to guys, man. I mean, both of these gentlemen, they're out there, and when we have friends that are into comic books and they want to get into it, literally these are the guys that I would point and be like, you need to watch their videos. It's the easiest way to get into it, absorb that information, and get it into like nice bite-sized morsels and catch up to being part of the conversation. So what they did was they were milestones, and Benny and Rob are such huge people in the community. It just sucks to know that we lost a good dude, man. Lost a really good dude. So
Okay.
I just wanted to give some type of like, camaraderie and some type of talking point and talk about Benny and some good experiences we've had with him being such an awesome creator and stuff in the last several years. How did you guys hear about it, or how did you guys feel when it all kind of came out?
Okay, well, first off, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna bullshit. I wasn't even aware of this. If you don't mind me asking, was it natural or was it an accident, or what happened?
From what they were saying, his wife had made a post saying that it was an accident. I don't really know what it was. I know that he had been, he made posts earlier in the year, struggling with like, trying to keep into it, being like burnout and stuff. I guess like social media burnout. So like, I wouldn't say if it's anything like self-inflicting or anything like that, but that's going to be on a personal reference of how they want to release the information. If they don't want to release it, that's fine. But All we know is that it was some type of accident. And Rob had made a video. Rob from Comics Explain had made a video talking about how like he had just talked to him like an hour to 20 minutes before it happened.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was very, very fresh on them. And it was the Saturday of last week. So yeah, man. Comics story. I'm gonna try to pick up a picture real quick. But yeah, man. Sucks a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen.
I could only imagine like obviously I'm not gonna lie and say I really knew these guys or I really followed them very well.
Mhm.
But obviously if it's somebody that you guys followed and you guys got, you know, a little bit of help source wise to talk about certain conversations, then yeah, of course it's gonna affect you guys. But in any aspect of when you lose somebody, even if it's a friend or, you know, somebody that you follow, you know, it sucks. It fucking hurts, you know.
Mhm.
And the thing is, it, especially for their loved ones, it, especially when you just said it was an accident, it's something unexpected. At least if they're sick or, you know, something's gonna, you can kind of somewhat mentally and physically prepare yourself when they're actually gone. Little by little, you know it's gonna come, you know. But when it's an accident, it's just unexpected. You know, it's just
Yeah.
something sudden. They're just taken from you.
And that's kind of like the way I feel like this happened. I don't think it was anything to do with the sickness because like it caught everybody in that community by surprise. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
had you guys ever you know, Nico, David, had you guys ever heard of Comics Historian? Like have you guys had an interaction with his YouTube channel or seen anything about this guy?
Bro, I started watching his stuff afterwards, after the announcement of his death.
Yeah.
And kind of wish I had stayed or jumped on that train sooner, bro. Like when Dale shared it, and then when it kind of went everywhere, I was like, why haven't I heard of this guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then I kind of just went into a little rabbit hole there. I mean, it's pretty entertaining, bro. I can see a lot of the aspects taken like that we use in our podcast daily. You know what I mean? Or like weekly, I should say. So I mean, I can see that he had a good following. I think he had like 3.04 million followers on YouTube.
Yeah, man.
So
That's super awesome, man. What about you, Nico?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I had never heard of him. But obviously, from the photos, dude, you could see the plaque right there, the YouTube plaque.
Oh yeah. What's crazy is like it was always like this really cool competition, in my opinion, on who was doing like the coolest stuff, right? Between him and Rob, right? Which is Rob is from Comics Explained, who's another like, you know, milestone person in the comic book community. What was cool about Benny is he gave such flavor to reading the characters. He would be so animated with doing his sounds and stuff. So like, you know, seeing and knowing that he's passed away, that like maybe like the last video that he put out is the last time we're going to see him do his intro and all this stuff, like sucks, dude. Because there's going to be more comic books. There's going to be more, you know, TV shows and things that he would want to talk about, and it's not going to be there no more. So
Yeah.
kind of sucks, dude. It really sucks. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we gave our flowers and we were there because, you know, he inspired a lot of us. Damn, dude, literally like him and Rob inspired us to do our show. Like literally, like I would watch these guys and be like, bro, they can do it. I can do it. Like they know their shit. I know my shit. And I don't have to be like a weird nerd. I could be like super open-minded and just talk my shit, like, and not have to worry. And what was cool about Benny is he was one of those dudes, like, you know, he would do an article about like I don't know, like House of X, and he'd be like, oh, you know what? As a matter of fact, he made a really funny comment about that one time. Spider-Man. He was like, yo, guys, so Spider-Man, what the fuck? Like he was just straight up. He was like, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, but like, what the fuck is Marvel doing? Like they're doing bad stuff. Like, why can't they get their shit together? Like he was one of those guys that he didn't critique it because he wanted to just be mean or talk shit because he didn't see like some political nature. He literally called it out for what it was and said, like, you should be able to do better because we've seen you do better. So like he was just, man, he was a funny dude, man. And super charismatic and super animated. Like Brian says in the comment section, huge loss for what it is that we do and the world that we're in when it comes to the comic book world. He is one of those guys that like the normies that weren't into comic books, you literally type something in and you catch it. He has it dedicated to it and he's going to read it to you the way that it should be. And he was going to put you in the right spot, man. He literally brought, in my opinion, these guys him, Comics Explained, Dope Spill, like all of these guys kind of give you a really great format as to making sure that the comic book industry isn't dying, that they're able to kind of inform people and be like, yo, go check these comic books out. You should go read these right now because they're really good and I recommend them. You know what I mean? It's not like, Marvel, fucking putting some weird shit out and then you being like, I'm lost. How do I get involved? How do I check out this character? Like, this was one of the dudes that kept bringing people in, and all he wanted to do was just, spread knowledge. So yeah, I wanted to make sure we talked about it and brought it up. It was a crazy news out of nowhere. And we didn't really, since we do our show on Sundays, we don't really do like much on the reactionary stuff. A lot of people did their reactions. I think I sat there and I waited patiently to see Rob's explanation on like what happened and how he's dealing with it. I don't even know why. Like, you know what I mean? It's none of my fucking business because I'm not even a part of these people's lives. But like, I just knew that I was waiting for, like, I rallied around Rob to say something, and he released a thing, and it was pretty crazy. But like, it was very touching. But yeah, man, huge loss, huge loss. So yeah, our condolences to Benny and his team. I know they're gonna try their best to keep the show going, to keep Comic Storian going. So they're going to keep the team together, and yeah, they're going to try to make it continue. So I want to show as much support as we can when it comes off. So I want to make sure that we start showing or at least start like spreading the word and sharing the videos on the Average Boys podcast when they start coming out again. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to let you all know if you hadn't heard. So I know it's weird. I don't really like talking about sad stuff, but needed to be. Going on into the first part of our nerd conversation, boys. Going right into it, crazy talk. Acolyte 3, episode 3 just dropped. The season's been going on for already 2 weeks, I think. 2 weeks, right? I think it's like 2 weeks. We got our third episode. This is the most talked about episode, that this was going to change the format of Star Wars. All the Star Wars, was going to be rewritten and retold. And as a matter of fact, I can't wait for Michael Betancourt to hit us up to bring him on the show to talk about it, because I want to get his point of views on things. I know he's probably gonna, he'll probably be in the favor of it because he's diehard. He loves Star Wars, but this is a hard sell, guys. This is a really hard sell. But episode 3 came out. It was gonna change the facet. It was either gonna do or die, break Star Wars or whatever. Nico, have you seen it? I think I've already asked David. David, you've seen it, right?
Yep.
No, okay. I haven't seen it.
Awesome. So we'll break it down for you so that way you do not have to waste your time, because time is precious. Time is valuable. David, I'd like to get your point of view. I know Brian will probably have something that he'd like to jump in and say. Maybe he jumps in through comments or maybe he jumps in through video, but I don't know if Michael Betancourt is still in the comment section either, but we'd like to get his point of view too. Acolyte, episode 3, season 1. David, what is your thoughts on the show?
Well, I know there's a lot of negative backlash, bro. And that's a spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen it. But the twins that are in there were birth through the force.
Of course, is a horse.
Yeah, through the witches and stuff. I think it's pretty interesting point of view. I don't think it's entertaining as much as it could be. Definitely, I know you and me talked about it. Like, you were reading the comments. Episode 1 and 2 sucked. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't rewatch this like on my free time. You know what I mean? Like, I would watch The Mandalorian anytime, bro. Like any season of Mandalorian.
Check this out. My guy Brian D. He's like, I know what you all talking about. Brian, what's up? I know you're at work. You're doing your thing. You probably have a little bit of free time. We're about to talk about Acolyte 3. I know we don't got you on for a minute, but drops.
No. I just closed the bar, so I'm just here. I want to listen to what you guys have to say, and then I'm gonna tell you why you guys are wrong.
Oh my God, I'm gonna love this episode so much. I'm gonna love the fuck out of this episode. All right, David's giving his breakdown. Go for it.
Hey, bro. I mean, it's not great, but it's pretty entertaining to an extent. I'm not a big fan of like the newer comics when it comes to Star Wars. I haven't really read it. I'm more of like the movies and so forth, right? That's kind of what I mostly stick to. But I mean, I think it's pretty good. I mean, when you have a Chewbacca with a fucking lightsaber, bro, I kind of lost my mind. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, the fuck is this shit? But It's just definitely different from the Star Wars that we're well known to. You know what I mean? When it was more, I guess I don't want to say serious, but where they took the IP more seriously, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean, it's good. It's good.
you can wait till all the episodes come out. You're not missing nothing. Like
Yeah, true that. In fact, like it's kind of hard. I think me and Brian have talked about this before, where it's like I would like to reserve my opinion till we get more information. But to take an entire episode on a flashback that was just shit, like this is such a waste of money. Like this episode was a hard waste of 20 million.
All right, but we did talk about a little bit last week about the impact that it was having on social media and the culture and whether or not Star Wars was a toxic fan base. Let's speak to that, right? Let's speak to the impact of this episode. So first off, I want to ask you. So, Nico, you said you didn't see it, right? So I won't ask you. But did you feel as though this impacted the lore of Star Wars in any way, shape, or form?
Like, are you asking Nico or?
I'm asking. No. I said I was gonna ask everybody.
Okay.
Whoever saw it.
Yeah. No, I don't think it impacted Star Wars at all. I just think it's trying to hijack what the lore and everything in history that Star Wars has already established. And I think it's just it wasn't executed the way these guys thought it was going to hit, because it really doesn't change anything unless this is the format that they're sticking to. The idea that they were able to create not one but two out of the Force, being that Anakin was prophesized as some type of, like prophetic, like a Native American or something, where it's like talked about in dreams and visions and stuff that the Force was bringing. But this apparent clan from 100 years previously with less understanding of the Force was able to do it like it was Tuesday, which doesn't even explain to the factor of this culture has been around for such a long time. Were all of the females established by the Force?
But see, I didn't know. I don't get that. Well, I'm not saying I don't. Not as in that I don't understand you, but I don't get that as from what they're trying to tell us. There's nothing in that episode that tells me that these witches are less knowing of the Force. They actually know so much that they made their own theory about it. They don't call it the Force. They call it the thread. Mm-hmm. Like they have their own theories behind it. I think more so I'm speaking of because the whole dichotomy with the dyad and the light and the dark, and I think they executed it pretty well. I think the acting was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I do think they got their point across. And for some reason, I just want to make a left turn really quick. Where the fuck is this 200 million being represented? The production is horrible, dude.
Yeah, we talked shit about that so hard last week, but it's even worse this week.
I for the life of me, I don't know where that money's being spent, but yeah, I think everyone was blowing shit out of proportion last week. I don't think that it was the end all be all to Star Wars. I think they took something that was, I mean, any hardcore Star Wars fan would know that there's been pretty much an immaculate conceptions and shit like that, and the Force making people. So it's not something that's not new to us. It's just everybody wanted to be up in arms because it was supposedly two lesbians doing it, and they didn't like that shit. That's not their Star Wars, and it's not that serious.
Well, okay, so the Immaculate Conception in Star Wars has only been done one time, and that was with Anakin. So it's not like a continuous thing, but that was supposed to be something that was established in his story because he's, the one or whatever. He's like literally the Messiah of the universe, which is supposed to be Mace Windu being like, are you talking about the child that is prophetically supposed to give balance to the Force? Like that was the whole thing about it. So it was prophesized. It was literally through prophecy and stuff like that. But the problem is,
if you think about it, it didn't change though. Like it's still the dyad, right? It's the light and the dark. It's in this case, it's twins representing the light and the dark. In Anakin's case, it was internally. He was the light and he was the dark. It's all the same shit.
But you know what? Like the reason why it changes things is because of the fact that just because these witches were able to do it and they established this show, and then it happens with Anakin later, there was a whole history of like Darth Plagueis, Darth Sidious, the Jedis during the cloning saga, Palpatine during the cloning sagas, that were like, if this was already established that a group of people who were just not wanted and exiled and still live their life normally were able to pull it off, like, why didn't they just go with that format? And this was 100 years ago. You're talking about, remember when we were complaining that Reva was able to find out who Luke and Leia were, by doing absolutely nothing that no one else could have done, and then they couldn't figure it out. But like the idea of like, why didn't Plagueis go this route? Why didn't Palpatine go this route? If it was so easy for this like random group to just be like, oh, well, we don't look at the Force as a force, we look at it as a thread. Why didn't, the problem is going to come in a couple episodes when they decide to say that this group or this child that went on her own is why we have the rule of two. And that's going to be how the Sith were created.
I think that, we're jumping the gun a little bit when it comes to that, because they foreshadowed in this episode that, there is a secret as to how the mother was able to, make these children. So I'm pretty sure we'll get the answer to that, the answer to your question.
Yeah,
we'll get that at some point during the season. We're only in episode 3. We have 8 episodes. This is episode 3. We have 8 we have 8 in total. So they foreshadowed that it's some kind of a secret as to how she did this. I'm pretty sure we'll get to that.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. It's just, you would have assumed that it being like, we talked about this before, that it doesn't feel like 100 years. Like, this is a long time in history for it to be like stagnant. The Jedis do the exact same thing. In fact, 100 years in the past compared to what they have in the future, technology wise, like no security cameras, these people are able to create life out of nothing. And they can't even do that in the future. They had to go through cloning. Could you imagine if the Sith, which is what these people are trying to establish that these might create, are the people that had to go into cloning and doing all this stuff? Even the factor of Anakin Skywalker wanting to learn how to bring someone back to life is in this nature. Like, it's in this nature of idea. Like, the reason why it changes a little bit is of the fact that the Jedi and the Sith, for what it is that they've done over the hundreds and thousands of years of their establishment, they didn't really have much. Oh, Nico, you got to take off already, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna split.
All righty, bud. I hope David's talking shit in the private chat. I hope you have a good time. Thank you, Nico, for jumping on, man. I really appreciate you. Stay good, and hopefully we catch you next week.
All right, later, guys.
Thank you, brother. So, Brian, sorry, Brian. But
no.
I
was gonna say that. Go ahead, continue. I'm gonna dip out for a few, and then I'm hop back in a few. Okay.
Okay. You're gonna try to get on when you get back home?
Yeah. I'll be on.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Okay. Well, me and David will jump on and do this stuff. But
get out here, Nick. Oh, that's rude.
Get out here, Nico. But like, so through and through, like, okay, so David, I know you're paying attention to what we're talking about.
Of course.
Like I know what Brian's doing. Brian's talking about the idea of it being where, like, really it doesn't change much, right? Because it's kind of like this type of format is something that these writers that in Star Wars have been casually doing, which is they're like, hey, you know what? Like, we know that there's already like these strong characters that have already been established in the lore, but fuck it. Why can't we have this one Reva character come in and be a fucking badass too, where she's able to try to attack Darth Vader and do this stuff? Like, why can't we just add her in? You know what I mean? And the problem is because there's already lore established in that. So like this whole thing of like, I don't know how you took it, but I feel like this is like a weird insertion because one, like, I know that the creator, I forgot her fucking name, the chick that used to work for Jeffrey Epstein, right? Harvey Weinstein. She's out there talking about how, I think you saw that they were talking about it being like the gayest Star Wars. And they're talking about how people are really upset about this idea that there's like lesbian witches and all this other stuff. And the Force is female, two ladies can have a baby and all this stuff. For it being so open-minded, like I'm very confused. Like, what if a person of trans who believes themselves to be born, like if they were born in the wrong gender, chooses to be a female, do they sit in this cult of witches also? Because the witches are females only. I didn't see any transgender females in that background. So like,
Yeah.
are they isolated to only legitimate gendered females? And does that mean that the force itself, being a female, is only established to work better for females that are of natural birth and not for transgender? Like, what does it mean for it to be gendered? Like, that's been my biggest thing. Is I understand that Star Wars and Disney is trying to be very open to being more diverse and being open, but I didn't see any acceptance of like the transgender community. And that makes me feel like, dude, why is it that now for your specific subject or your specific reason of a point, you're exiling this type of female? Like you're literally saying you're open-minded and you want to be more accepting, but you're showing that in your point, you can choose when you want to use natural females and not natural females. And then for them to maybe say like, oh, well, that's not true because there is a transgender actress who's like the third person holding a bow. And it's like, well, why are you putting them in the back where no one can notice them? Like, are you embarrassed of that? Like, is that not something you want to show? What's the diversity part here? Like, where is it that you're coming out to this community and you're talking about acceptance? Like, why is it that you're isolating the force to, again, one solid gender that you still to this day have trouble explaining what it is to be that? Like, it's been, for me, it's been one of those things. Like, I think it's a slippery slope, very slippery slope to be like, oh, the force is female. Oh, well, what do you mean by that? Like, if I feel female, does that mean it's a part of me? Or is it only specifically for the gender cis female like person, and other people cannot establish it or work it as strong as them? Like, what
I
is?
don't know, bro. I think it's a perspective thing because, like, obviously in their element, like where they're from, with their planet, it's female made. So what their experience with the thread or the force or whatever, that's the way that they perceive it. And then obviously over the years, and probably in different parts of the galaxy, if they write off to a different series or whatever, there's other people that adapt into the force. You know what I mean? Kind of like with the whole bullshit. I think it was Rogue One, where the fucking blind dude was tapped into the force, but was he tapped into the force? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
was he
there's
really?
people that are force sensitive, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think so much of it being like the female thing. Now, obviously, where we're at now compared to where we were in the fucking late 90s, early 90s when the first Star Wars came out, it's something they have to consider. But is it entertaining? I mean, it's okay. Are they trying to throw it down everybody's throats? That's kind of the way I feel, right? We talked about the whole robe shit. Like, why are they fucking showing some irony in a robe and shit?
Yeah.
Like, this is stupid as shit. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes no
Yeah.
sense. That's unnecessary and stuff.
Like, I don't know. Like, I was just thinking about that the other day, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, this is very like gender isolated centric. Like, it's very based just on women of natural women birth. But of course, in the dichotomy that we are in the world right now, there is an open opportunity for people that have gender swapped or gender role changed to feel that they are misplaced at birth and feel that they are female. But does that give them, like, where is their voice in this? Like, in this type of nature where this person is literally trying to, I'm going to say gaslight the idea that women are so superior in the force and in Star Wars, that they're the leading culture. Like, where does that sit when it comes to like the transgender female? If they're open about representing the LGBT community to a T and getting it to be where us as a culture are more accepting of it, why is it that we don't have any proper transgender representation in this type of story? Especially when it's so centric around the female embodiment.
It's not over yet. You never know. Right, we're 3
Maybe.
episodes in. You know what
But
I mean?
we're talking about a whole culture of female witches that are just wiped out in one episode.
I think
They're all
it's
wiped
not
out.
so
Like,
much- I don't think it's the witches, bro. I think the whole point of this acolyte bullshit is that these Jedi are trained to go out there and look for force sensitive children or force sensitive people. So maybe an episode will expose something different. Because obviously, fucking Chewbacca knockoff over here had to come from that fucking planet, right? So maybe it's gonna take a different turn that way, possibly.
no. The Jedi, right?
Yeah.
The Jedi in this are not from the planet where the witches are from.
No.
They're from just across the universe. They're already established in the Jedi community. So for them to be at that level where they're out there being Jedi Knights, it means they've already gone through the like the academy. They've already done all that stuff.
Yeah, but I'm
But
talking
like
about
they're
them looking for the children. So like,
well looking
for
for the children
example,
on that planet.
so they're looking right now, and it's a planet of all witches, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, we're gonna test your fucking kids, whether you like it or not, right? Whatever the
Yeah.
fuck. But maybe it's not so much. I mean, obviously, this story is focused on the two kids, but maybe those 100 years ago, they were just going from planet to planet and just seeing what it was. Some planets were all females. Maybe there's one that's all males, and so forth. You know what I'm saying?
It's really weird because like the way that the Jedi come in and they're like, you know, they're talking about these people that are like random zealots of people that are training and trying to use the Force in some kind of manner that aren't doing it through like litigation, through like the Jedi way or understanding it through that kind of like education. They're kind of doing it on their own. That the Jedi comes out and they kind of like I don't know, like they're like a legislation of people that don't allow it to happen, like the Texas Department of Licensing or whatever, that you cannot practice skills using the Force unless you're like, I don't know, you have a driver's license or something that lets you use it or whatever. So like, I don't really see why, unless it's like they're treating them like a terrorist group or something, that the Jedi would show some type of interest in people that are just like they said, like monks in the forest learning to use the Force. It's like Chinese kung fu. Like, you know, you don't see the fucking police officers showing up to like kung fu gyms being like, hey, are you training kids or are you only keeping it to adults? Like, no, it's not like these people are out there using the Force to like rob people or, you know, take apart armies or whatever. They're only using it in their own demographic in their own communities when they're barely even using the Force if you think about it. Just when they have their like weird singing orgies or whatever they're doing is the only time that I ever see them use the Force, or when they're doing like the same thing the Jedis do when they're educating the children on how they use the thread or whatever it is they want to call it. Everybody can have a name for it. Still the Force, no matter what it is. It's just, I think they're looking at it, or they're trying to establish that the Force is more, what I got from it is it's more inclined to be more like the witches of fate, which is what I got the whole thing from, which are the three witches from Greek mythology, the Pantheon, that could see destiny unfold, and that everything is by a thread. Everybody's connected by that, the life string or whatever, which I mean, I guess is the Force too, because you cannot have any cause and effect without the Force causing it, which the famous Freddie Prinze Jr. came out and said when he used to sit down with fucking Dave Filoni and blow people and, you know, and fucking, but I don't know where he's fucking defending it now, because he made a whole post about defending why there's no such thing as gray Jedis, like that's stupid and fans are making it up and there's no reason, because you're either going to have just light or dark. There's no real in between. Like it's either going to be one or the other, and nothing happens unless the Force makes it happen. Which, if you go back, a really good example, even though I don't really care for the movie too much, was The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi. I think it's The Last Jedi, right? Which is Kylo Ren brings Rey to that fucking weird guy Snoke, and they're in that room, and then they fight it out and all this stuff. And at that time, remember, the Leia's ship is leaving and they're being fired at and shot. Voldo or whatever her name is turning the ship around to do that badass like speed through the whole fucking thing and take it out, the dreadnought or whatever. You have Rey and Kylo fighting over Luke's lightsaber, and in that moment, those are and what I got from that was the Force being a part of every one of those moments. When the lightsaber explodes, Voldo goes through and does the light speed through the ship, and Leia gets away. All three of those moments happen at the exact moment when it was supposed to happen. That's always the way it's always been explained to us, that things just don't happen without the Force making it happen, because that's the balance.
Fucking Mandalorian, this is the way, bro.
Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, because it's just what it is. It's simple. It's easier to explain when it's done that way. But now when it's a thread, like There's like a push and pull method, which I guess is the same thing as a balance, but that's just reinventing the wheel. Like you don't have to call it a thread. You could call it the force. It's just these people call it a thread through their culture. But the thing is if that culture's out there creating babies out of the force and them acting like it's fucking Tuesday, like how was that established 100 years ago? Imagine a technology right now established 100 years ago in our world, and nowadays we cannot reproduce it. Like name something that way that we can't do at home with a fucking science kit. Something from 100 years ago that we cannot do at home on our own. Everything we did 100 years ago, we can do that at home. That's called evolution.
Yeah.
That's called organic evolution. That's just called just us technologically evolving. That would be like if you wanted to make a Star Wars movie, you would get a 35 millimeter camera, get a bunch of miniatures and make that bitch happen. You could do that shit easier nowadays because of CG and all this other stuff that you can have at home. So like the idea of them creating not just one child, but two children, that's fucking bonkers to me, bro. That's insane to me. And of course, we're legally seeing that the Jedis were involved, that the Jedis have documentation that they've had throughout the years, which is like the book of the Jedi children that they had to get from that chick, the historian or whatever her name is, from the other fucking shows, the prequels. So we know that they document these things. So in history, when Anakin is born of an immaculate birth, which is without a dad, they're going to be like, oh, cool, we have one. There's 200 years ago, so it's not anything. It's not new, but we can deal with this. Like, why is it they never said that before? Like, again, how is it that you can have such important characters hundreds years ago never be a part of the lore in anything in a nowadays sense? Like, if it was just deleted from fucking history for no reason, you would assume that two children born from completely nothing in the Star Wars universe would be a big motherfucking deal.
But would it also be the theory, because you know how the Jedi, maybe it's in their archives, but they don't teach it, they don't preach it, but it's documented. You know what I'm saying?
It's got to be in the books.
But you get what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
yeah,
in order-
100%.
in order to
Like,
shape
it's
that
redacted. What if
Yeah,
it's redacted?
exactly, bro. And they were like, we're going to build off the mistakes off this, but we're going to preach this part of what the Force is, not the witches and so forth. You get what I'm saying? So it could have been in the books. I mean, obviously, we still got that 100-year gap from when we pick up or whatever. We pick up with Anakin.
Man.
So
that's a lot, man. That's a lot. I don't know, man. It's just it's really weird. The episode 3 isn't like a real big make or break for me. Like it didn't really do anything for me.
Filler, 100% filler.
Yeah, like
filler.
you would. What I would have done, and I'm not. You know what? I'm gonna put this out there. I'm gonna make my own Acolyte show. Fuck this place. I'm just gonna make my own. I got cameras and actors and shit. I'll just make my own. I'll just write my own shit and be like, this is the way I think the Acolyte should have been done.
Studio.
Right? Yeah, fucking make that bitch happen. Pixel Studios, Acolyte, fucking the mini series or the mini movie or whatever, and be like, this is what they should have done. This is how they could have made it into a better show. And I'll write it myself. I don't give a fuck. Let them sue me. When fucking Star Wars and all those guys are like, well, we're suing you for copyright, I'm gonna be like, cool, well, fuck you. Sue me, bitch. I ain't got much, but fuck you. This is what you should have done. And I'll be like, instead of suing me, give me a fucking job. That's it. And man, maybe they give me a job, but like, yeah, for reals, dude. Like this show should have been done in small flashbacks. Like it should have been done in small flashbacks throughout the entire series. You know, they killed Carrie Fisher or whatever her fucking name is in the first film or the first episode. And then they were like, oh, it's all right. Because, I forgot her name. Yeah, Carrie Ann Moss. Bro,
I thought she was going to be there the whole time. I was so pissed in that minute, bro.
Bro, and then for someone to be like, oh, no, dude, it's cool. Like, well, they're going to bring her back in a flashback and be like, bro, that's not the same. Like, her character's dead. Like, what does it fucking matter? I don't give a fuck about what she did in the past. Like, let me ask you something. And when Brian comes out and asking the same fucking thing, why did that guy kill himself? Like, why did that fucking Jedi dude kill himself? Why was he all fucking torn up in his nuts for some shit that a little 10-year-old kid did for no fucking reason?
I don't know, bro. Because
it made zero fucking sense. There was nothing the Jedi did.
The way they wrote it, bro, was like, okay, like we're gonna take your child, and then there's this big old gap where they all just dead, but you don't know who instigated shit, who did what. You don't know, bro. You're
instigated. Bro, the little girl literally, like, she's like, nah, you know what? Like, just accept me for who I am. I'm not a witch. I'm a Jedi. Like, this is what I want to do. And the other sister's like, hey, well, you know what? If you go, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like, what the fuck kind of kid is that? And then she like, let me lock you up and let me kill everyone. And then be like, yo, it was the Jedi's fault. It's like, no, bitch, you didn't have to light the rock cave on fire and kill all your fucking parents and people. You could have just cried on your bed like every other fucking kid would.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to murder everyone. I don't even, it doesn't get around my head. Like,
I don't know,
unless
bro.
this person is like a fucking psychopath, the kid, like just a straight up like nuisance, like straight up like Jeffrey Dahmer type of person, because it does not make any sense why she's like, oh, you want to be a Jedi? Well, I'm gonna fucking kill everyone in this fucking cave. Watch me light this bitch on fire and murder everyone. And it's like, yo, why are you like that? You can just have my address and I can text you, or I can send you a voice memo. It's not gonna be like I'm gonna be too far away. Like, fuck, we ran into each other 20 years later. Like, we're adults and I ran into you. The galaxy can't be that fucking big. Like, man, dude, Brian's gonna have to really sell that shit to me, because I don't know why that fucking Dollar General Timu Mark Hamill killed himself still, man. Like, I just want an explanation. Like, what is it that he felt so guilty of that he was like, damn, girl, we did you dirty. I killed your parents. Let me drink that poison.
Hey, bro, you don't know what happened, because we're under the impression that the Jedi killed all those chicks, but we don't know who struck first, who shot the first shot. You know what I mean? We don't
Bro, the
fucking
little
know.
girl killed him. There's no fucking, the Jedi were
You
probably
think
just
the
at home.
little girl killed him or the Jedi killed him?
The whole fucking little girl killed all those motherfuckers. And for them to be like, yo, look at how I use the force and defend myself. They didn't do much against that little kid. It's like fire is they're like Martian Manhunter. Fire is their fucking weakness. Because it made zero sense as to how many people died to a girl like that just lit a cave on fire. And bro, that cave was rock. I don't even know how fire works in this fucking universe anymore. I don't know how fire works. I don't know if that's Brian too. Like, it's like the first episode where there was just fire in space. They were outside of the fucking ship and they just had a campfire. Like, that's not the way fire works, dude. Bro, I've seen Interstellar and I've seen all these movies. It's not the way fire like burns in space. Like, I don't know. Like,
That's
do you
the same
think?
shit, bro? But I was like, the fuck? I was like, all right, whatever. We're going with
Yeah,
it.
you're like, I don't even care. It's just lesbians or whatever. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like, I can't comprehend from this episode making any sense to it being where the guy in the second episode self-deleted himself because he felt so like he caused this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Like, I don't like in general, how would any of those Jedis think that this was their fault?
I don't know, bro. I mean, maybe that's something we're missing. I don't fucking know, bro.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I see that that one guy, what is it? The Hunger Games, or what's he from? Squid Games. That guy is the only Jedi that shows up to save the little girl out of nowhere. And he wasn't there fast enough to save. Dude, that acting was so shitty, dude.
100%, bro. So
God,
bad,
bro, those two little girls better not get hired nowhere, bro. They can go back to working fucking Charmin commercials or whatever. They did not work well together, dude. They didn't sell any of that shit. Everything they did was just like, it was dumb. It was dumb. I was just removed from that whole entire position. The girl that plays the main witch, she's pretty good. I like her acting. I kind of dug her and her the other character that she's like in a relation with. Like, I could see their whole like situation where it's like one of them is like, well, I carried them, and the other's like, well, I fucking manifested them in your stomach, or
made them.
I made them or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, like, that's two different opinions. You know, we're looking at an openly fair family that's more open-minded to like non-traditional cultural families of that nature. I guess you could say like the Star Wars atomic family. Like, since it's two female characters raising two children, like, it's not like a typical like male female dichotomy. Like, so one of the parents is very like aggressive in how she wants to raise them, and the other one's more open, like, oh, you can tell me whatever it is you want to be, which is, I guess, like the reach for like the LGBT style of like family upbringing, where like you're allowing the children to make more rash decisions and things like that. Like I could see that being an opportunity or an option, right? Which was the whole like, I'm not a witch, I'm a Jedi. Okay, like, do you really feel that way? And it's like, yes. Okay, well, we're gonna let you, a 10-year-old, make this huge decision for yourself, which is gonna rip our family apart. But if it's what you want, it's what we want, or it's what I want, or whatever the fuck. But apparently, like, one of those little kids was like, nah, it ain't happening. If you leave, I'll fucking murder everyone. Like, that's like a psycho ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, ain't it? Like that, I don't know, man. Like I don't get it. And there's still like a role, right? That people are starting to believe that, which I don't fucking believe 100% at all, that there was like a movement that it was supposed to be like a separation in the idea that there are actually like two individuals in one body and they're kind of like split personality, but that's not there. Brian, welcome back, dude. Are you back home already or no?
No, just got out of work, but
Excellent.
we're gonna rock like this for a little bit.
All
So
right,
you guys
all right.
still talking about this stupid ass show?
Yeah, we're still talking. I wanted to get your impact. But I'm glad that you at least acknowledge that it's a stupid ass show.
It's only stupid because I don't think that it's a good show. I like it. I can't be blind and not understand where other people have issues. But again, that goes to what I was speaking about last week when you're trying to make a show that has a wide range of fans,
Yeah.
and it's going to be hard to please everybody. So, I mean, I look at it like this. When it comes to Star Wars, if
Hi.
you can either watch it, or don't watch it, So,
Yeah. So Brian, let me ask you then. I just want to be very, like, I guess, transparent about it as much as we can, right? There's a lot of people that are just hating on the show for what it's worth. There's a lot of people that just don't like where Star Wars stands. There's a lot of people that just don't like the DEI aspect of it and all this stuff. And I don't really want to follow that format. What I want to do is I want to talk about it in a critiqueful way, like someone that tries to understand shows and where it's going. What is it that you like about the show?
I do like the story. The story is there. I think the story is interesting. I do like them expanding on the dyad aspect of it. The twins and the light and the dark, and we've already seen twins. We've seen Luke and Leia, and what I'm saying, so like we've seen people that are twins that are being able to wield the Force and things of that nature. So I like the story. I just think the execution is trash. I think that the Soul, I think he's doing a phenomenal job. The actor, I don't know the guy's name. It escapes me.
Yeah, from Squid Games.
Yeah. The guy from Squid Games. And then I do think the kid actors are doing a decent job. They're not taking me out of it. They're not taking me out of it. But child acting can always be iffy. I don't think they're ruining the show.
Yeah.
But I just think that some of the execution is a little wonky. But then again, I also think that some of it's wonky is because there's a lot of things that we don't know, and it's designed that way. I don't think the one thing I will say is that the people that are behind this show, they're not stupid. They're doing things on purpose, intentionally. I do think that episode 3 was to get a reaction, which it did. So when it comes to how I'm going to critique this show, it's mostly just about what I have in front of me so far, and what I have in me so far has me enough. There's enough in front of me for me to want more, for me to see where this is going. I'm not completely shut off. I'm not just gonna write off the show. I want to see where they go with this and see if they stick this landing. I'm game.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. What is it that you feel like you hope the show brings in like the next couple of episodes? What is it you would need for it to like at least get a better landing?
I think once we find out what the Jedi did or what happened with that whole explosion, because obviously there's something more to that. Once we find out what that is and what the big secret is, because there's some there's a big reveal here somewhere. once we find out that, I think that's gonna open things up, and we'll see what kind of legs this show has after
Okay.
the cat's out the bag, if you will. You know.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. What about you, David?
Shit, my bad.
There you go, bud.
I said my bad. I agree with Brian. It's pretty good storytelling. I'm not like, I mean, obviously it's written differently, bro. Like we've been talking about this whole time, but I mean, I'll watch it. I'm not gonna rewatch it. It's half entertaining, but I definitely want to see like more of like. I mean, it's got to end with like them killing each other, bro. I mean, I don't want to be that guy, right? But it's gotta have like a fucking dramatic ending, bro. Because like either they're gonna be eventually when they find out that they were born through the thread or the force. It's documented in Jedi history, and that's kind of where maybe they get that concept for Anakin, right? Like the chosen one's gonna be born through the force or whatever bullshit, right? So as long as it can tie into that overall IPs that we know now, I would feel better. If it takes a hard left, I mean, I guess we could have a pit stop on the way to the fucking story, you know? But
Maybe.
Yo, one thing that was interesting is fuck. I'm sorry, because I'm gonna let you go. But did nobody else thought it was fucking weird that May was so quick to kill her sister? Like she was like all like they were all good, they were sisters and all that shit. And then just because Osha fucking
Wants to be a Jedi.
She's like, all right, well then I'm gonna kill you. Like,
Yeah, she's a little
like,
psychopath,
wait a
man.
minute,
She's
what
straight
the
up
fuck?
fucking crazy. Yeah, she's a fucking
that come
psychopath,
from?
and that's what literally I was just talking to David about, where it was like, don't you think it's kind of weird, like the way that this chick's character, like, because the thing is I really don't think there's anything much to that explosion. I think you're just gonna find out that May did some shit, like threw a grenade in there or something, and just wiped everybody out, and then the Jedi showed up, and she's just out there blaming her decision on the Jedi because she literally thinks the Jedi tore apart her family, which I don't find any fucking there's no justification of what she's doing, dude.
But the witches weren't burnt. They weren't burnt. They were just laying on the ground. They didn't die from an explosion.
Oh yeah, I mean, I understand that. That's what I'm saying. It's probably like a grenade or something. I mean, but then again, like
she just had a grenade in her back pocket, bro.
I don't fucking know. Like she literally lit the whole place on fire. I don't know who this fucking kid is.
Exactly, we don't know. So we're gonna figure that out. She didn't have a fucking grenade. She just blow people up. Something happened, and it's gonna be explained.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just, there's a lot of stuff that still doesn't make any explanation, or it doesn't really explain a lot. Like, it was kind of like I was telling David too, like, right now with the justification of what it is, or like the idea of what the flashback was, which I think was just a horrendous episode in general, is like, how is this enough for that one gentleman in the last episode to self-delete himself? Like, this is what was bartering on his head, that he was like, well, thank God someone brought me poison. Like, let me kill myself off. So, like, whatever it is that you're talking about in the sense of like some explosion that's justifying the situation, like for the guy, the main dude's soul, and for the other girl, the Carrie Ann Moss, to not feel that way, like this dude was just chilling out in the kneeling, or the Dollar General, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker was literally just floating in this room for 10 years because of something that we think he supposedly did, but like they're not really giving us an idea because no one else feels he did it.
You're just.
I'm going off of the 3 episodes. Yeah, I like.
You're answering your own question to what you asked before, or the question, the conversation we just had, is because obviously something happened. In order for this Jedi to just off himself, it wasn't just as simple as she threw a Molotov cocktail and everything.
And just wiped everybody out.
Something happened. Something happened, and the Jedi are feeling complicit in it. And if you think about it, all the Jedi, when we see them, they're all disheveled. They're all fucked up. Fucking the Wookiee is somewhere secluded, some off place. He's really just off the grid. Carrie Ann Moss is trying to blend in. She really didn't want to be, seen by anybody. Soul is half of a fucking.
Wait, what do you mean though? Like Carrie Ann Moss's character, like literally is just the Jedi at the bar. That's what Obi-Wan did.
No. But what I'm saying is, she wasn't out. Like the way that she looked, the way that they presented her, she was just hiding in the corner.
But she wasn't hiding. She was hanging out with like a whole group of people, like just having a good time. Like there was no hiding in it.
Her back was towards her. And yeah, she was at a table, but she wasn't interacting. If you watch that episode again, I watched it like twice. She wasn't interacting with anybody. She wasn't sitting back laughing, drinking a beer or something.
Yeah,
Like,
but
she was
people
just-
knew where to find her though. Like literally, the chick goes up to some rando out in the street.
May's got intel. She knows how to find everybody. She's got intel from the old boy.
No,
how to find everybody.
in the episode, it shows that the intel she got was just from some rando, and she said, "Hey, where's your local Jedi?" And the guy was like, "Oh," gives her coin and just points in the direction of the bar, and she's like, "Okay, cool, thanks." It was like it was nothing for that dude. That wasn't intel. That was just someone just chilling out. And the question was so blatant. It was just, "Where's your Jedi?"
The point is that she's hunting the Jedi. So regardless of how she finds her, is how she finds her. I'm not quite sure what point you're trying to make with that, because it's just a point that she's looking for the Jedi.
Yes.
And when she finds Carrie Ann Moss, it's not like she's being boastful or joyous or kicking back and hanging out. She's just like in the corner, just chilling.
Yeah, just there.
Something happened to these Jedi that they're still dealing with. What I'm saying.
I mean, I guess because the Soul character isn't really dealing with anything. He was just teaching kids already.
He lost his Padawan. What are you talking about? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, things are fucked up. Like, if you just look at it from the surface, yeah, it's just like, all right, we're just going on with the story. But if you look deeper into it, these Jedi are fucked up. Like, all of them. This dude went in meditation for 10 fucking years. What are we talking about?
Yeah, well, that guy, I don't know, because they really just haven't really given us a reason why he's able to just self-delete himself. But like I said, like, Soul's character is teaching Padawans and being like just normal. The only reason why he's got distraught now is because they were like, "Yo, your old Padawans out there," and he's like, "Oh,
because of
well,
the
you know what? Maybe I should be the one to do
that." Because something happened where he lost her. Something happened where he lost her.
Oh yeah, there's still something that there's still have a lot of explanation that's needed.
Exactly. There's a lot
of
explanation.
I'm not saying that I need more information right now, but I'm just saying for what it's worth. Like, I think episode 3, like, it should have just been a bunch of like flashbacks in the episodes already. I think it was a waste of an episode. Like, to me, that episode really didn't do much.
It literally explained on the surface level what happened. There's more deeper into it. I can't just like that's helping towards the plot here. I don't understand how you see that episode and say it was a waste, because it's literally giving us our plot. It's giving us our story.
It was the same thing as the Solo movie. Like, it was things that were already being explained in the show that I knew that something had happened. I knew they wiped those people out. I knew that the girls were a part of it. I knew the Jedi were fucking around, but I didn't need a whole episode slowing me down.
You don't think seeing that helps?
No, it didn't help me at all. It didn't help me at all. I mean, if it helped you, that's fine. It didn't help me at all.
All right. So we have 3 people here. So why don't we ask our other co-hosts? What do you think? Do you think that the episode was necessary, David?
You know, I think what I was talking to Chris, I feel like it was a filler. Did it give a little bit of insight on like the witch concept? I think it set a good baseline for that. I'm hoping they build off it at least one more episode, half an episode, and they'll just leave it like that, like, and they don't touch it again. That's going to be pointless as fuck, you know. So that's just me. Point. I don't know.
Well, they're dead, so I don't know how much more witches.
I don't know how much we're gonna get.
I mean, referencing the event more, like, this is why this fucking twin fucking chose to be an asshole, and this one's fucking repairing ships like a dumbass or some shit, you know.
I'm saying that, but I don't think the witches are dead. I think there was some weird shit going on. I really don't think that those witches went through all that trouble just to hand them over to the fucking Jedi. I think there's some shit going on, and I think the witches kind of had something to do with that whole explosion. That's what I think.
So, like, what is it that you think that might have happened?
I just told you. I think that there's no way they obviously these witches were exiled, right? So they're not in the good graces of everybody, especially the Jedi. They have this resentment towards the Jedi. They did not want them there. They didn't want them to know that they had kids. They didn't want anything. They got pissed off when they found out that the Jedi were spying on them. They wanted to be in secrecy. So I don't think that they would just be so happy-go-lucky to go hand over the quote unquote experiment that they were doing. I don't think they would just hand them over. I think that they were about to lose Osha, so they had to stage something. They had to do something to get the Jedi the fuck out of there, or to separate them, or to keep one of them, or do something. And I think that's something and that's the reason why that episode is important, is because it gives us that building. We're only 3 episodes in, guys. We're gonna find out more, and I think that to me is probably the more important episode because we get to see the interactions with the witches and the Jedi and what happened and why things happened the way that they did.
Okay. All right. Well, for me myself, I feel like there wasn't enough information given in this episode. Of course, like I think the rest of the episodes will have to pick up slack for what it kind of like lost off on. I think like for them to put the witches in and make it feel like they were important and then just wipe them out real quick. I don't know, man, for like the overarching story of Star Wars, for like, you know, if them not, I would have established the idea like now you're going to have in some way like Lord Plagueis is going to show up and try to get some information or find some of the documentation of what they were doing, because the Immaculate Birth in Star Wars is such an important thing that the Sith wanted to make happen, which is that's why, you know, Palpatine and all these guys were so adamant about making it work in the first place. They were always, even in the Legends books and all that stuff, they were always about being able to create life with the Force. Because if you were able to do that, you could create literally super soldiers. That would have been like, that would have taken over the entire Clone War if you could just like make a fuckload of these dudes with the Force already established in them. Like, and of course, like with the prequels involved, you have this concept of like the metachlorians and all this other stuff. So we know that through science and all this stuff, you could still find out who's strong in the Force. There was this weird like dichotomy that they were trying to establish that the Jedi of this time were very Gestapo when they were like, oh, someone can use the Force, take this test because we're going to take you. It's almost like when you look at like how they get children in China for like the gymnastics in the Olympics or in boxing in the Olympics, they show up to like certain regions and they're like, yo, we're going to have a big tryout. If you make it, we'll, you know, cover your family's food since it's a communist country or whatever, but you will fight for us in the country and we'll pay your family to be okay. Like, I kind of feel like that's what they were kind of establishing, that the Jedi is like this overarching, like, I don't know, like I said, like imperialistic nature. Like they come in and they just like, they're fucking taking babies and fucking warhammering them into like the fucking Jedi Academy, like that. They don't give a fuck of what the parents say. But like the ideal was that there was this whole, like, I don't know, like I kind of felt like there was this like example that the writer was trying to do where they were trying to be very open about like, well, what is it the child wants to do? Like, we shouldn't, you know, stop them from being what they want to do. Let them make a choice, even if it has an effect on the family. All of these, like a child should be able to make a choice that would be in this nature. So, like, I feel like it's in that, you know, the format of them being more diverse and open to like the community, trying to get us to understand like how like a lot of these decision making things could really make or break a family and a community. So, like, it's like, I don't think the Jedi were like that, but then again, I'm not the one writing the story, so because it was never established like that way with Qui-Gon and Anakin. But then again, that's like, you know, 100 years later or whatever the excuse is going to be. So like, I don't know. I think the way they wrote the Jedi was a little bit too facetious, very, very arrogant, very down the center, very like they don't really care. Like they just like it's their way or not, which I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Like the way that they established the witches at the beginning and they talked about it, they were like, well, people didn't like us, so we just moved out here because we were like not wanted. Like there was no exiling. There was no them breaking the law. There was no them, nothing like that. It was just like, no, people didn't like us, so we moved out here by ourselves. And then all of a sudden, like
just one thing to the point that you just made.
Yeah.
I mean, they did ask. The Jedi did ask the mother, is it cool? It's not like they just came and swooped in the kids. They asked her. She said, we want to test them with your permission." And the mother said, "Yeah." So It's not like they came in and just scooped up the kids. They asked for permission and they said yes because they didn't want any problems. But I do think that there is some resentment towards the Jedi for that because, yeah, you guys. I mean, again, we don't know why they're exiled. We don't know how that happened. But what we do know from that episode, from episode 3, is that they were banished. They were banished. They were exiled. They were kicked out from whatever from wherever they were. And this is the planet that they chose to stay on. And they thought, all right, so now we're over here. We're out of the way. Leave us the fuck alone. And here you 4 fuckheads come try and take our fucking creation. And fuck that. So that's why I think like it's just going to be a lot more revealed.
Well, wouldn't technically a creation like that be like an abomination to society?
To who? Who's to decide
During
that
that
that's
culture,
what
no
that
one
is?
else is like cloning or doing
But
anything.
who is
Even the
but
Clone
who is
Wars themselves, 100 years
but
later,
who
were
is
like an
deciding?
abomination.
Who's deciding that that's an abomination? Like we're doing our own thing over here. Like we tried to live among you motherfuckers, and you guys didn't want it. You said that what we did was unnatural. You're saying that the way that we're living is not cool. So okay, fine. So now we're over here. We're minding our own business, and here you guys come. So, because we're over here, if what we were doing before was unnatural and an abomination against whatever rules and protocols you guys live by, so now we're over here doing it, you know, to the side, out of your way. And yet you guys are still coming over here dictating what we're doing.
But do you not feel like the experiment or whatever you want to call it that they did that was established and it worked? That's not something that could be a problem in future generations, like a cult that can make children that are completely powerful with superpowers and not be like regulated for it. Like, do you feel like it's something that they should have just been like, oh well, it's cool, continue on, guys, good luck or whatever?
I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. But who are the Jedi to decide whether it is or whether it isn't?
Well, being at that time in history in Star Wars, they were known as the Knights. They worked alongside the Republic or whatnot. The what is it? Not the Republic.
That's not answer my question. What makes them the law of the land? Yeah,
Well, they were the leading members of society that knew and studied the Force. That was like
like if I'm one of those witches, I'm gonna need a little bit more than that. Like if I'm over here and you guys
but they're the savior. That's also the savior of the community. Like that's the thing. Like you didn't like in this time in history in Star Wars, they weren't just knights because they went to the academy and they were just like, oh, we graduated the policing stuff. There was a history of the Jedi fighting for peace and all this stuff, years, thousands of years. There's like the 1,000-year war, 1,000-year history, the Sith revolution. Like there's a bunch of stuff that was going on before this 100 years. This is where you even get the idea of the High Republic, because it comes in nature after the Old Republic. So like there was already established that these people are not just a bunch of dudes with laser swords and they're just like dicks. These are like the heroes of the galaxy. So they are the leading faction that understands the Force better than most.
Chris, in this situation, how are they the heroes?
In this small situation, I mean, how are they the villains?
No. Don't minimize it, because that's the point of our topic. In this situation, how are they the heroes? What are the witches doing that they need the heroes?
Well, they did something that no one else has done with the Force. They created a whole.
Is that wrong?
They didn't create one, and not only that, there's a prophecy of a child that would bring balance to the Force, and that's already in this history. Okay. So, like, for them to create two out of nothing, that's like, oh shit! Like, could this be the prophecy? You know what I mean? Of course, it's establishing about the Jedi and the Sith and stuff like that. The thing is like, there's a bunch of other factions.
Chris, everything you're saying doesn't make it wrong, though. I get what you're saying.
Doesn't what?
It doesn't make it wrong what they're doing. I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't mean that what they're doing is wrong and that they need the Jedi to come save the day. They're over there minding their own fucking business, making fucking Force babies.
And you don't think that's anything weird?
Maybe.
No, there's no maybe. You can't maybe this shit. You can't maybe this shit. Like,
I can't.
No, there's no maybe. It's either yes or no. It's either weird or not. Like, so for you to tell me like, no, dude, it's a maybe. But the entire community, for whatever fuck they were doing, was like, yo, bitches, you need to get the fuck out of here because you guys are weird as fuck. And they're like, fine, fucker, we'll leave or whatever and find our own forest. Like, for them to get exiled, like you're saying, like they had to be doing some shit that the whole community was like, these bitches are weird. These fucking chicks are weird. We don't like them. There had to be something, because if you're just saying that it's nothing, they could have just been chilling.
Chris, if they were doing something that was that egregious, they would have been locked up. They would have been killed.
They would have exiled.
Okay, and if they're exiled, you're still allowing them to practice and do their own thing.
Yeah, because it's a community. They're not. I don't know if you want them to like string them up or what is it you want them to do? Like they're not breaking a law. But like that would be like, I don't know.
Just made my point. They're not breaking a law. They're not breaking a law. They're not doing anything. You just made my point.
But then why be so aggressive when the Jedi show up?
All right.
Like
you literally just made my point.
But if they're not breaking the law and the Jedis are just showing up to check on him, why do they become so aggressive and towards him? Why is it they have to tell him like, oh, no weapons, guys, because they ain't bringing weapons or whatever the fuck? Like why is that?
I'm confused now. I don't know.
I don't know, bro.
I don't
Maybe
know.
because they were just had the pre notion that they're going around taking the kids, and that was their legacy that they wanted to pass on. Because that's what the chick said, right? Like we got to protect these kids; they're the future and shit.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, that's a better understanding because of the value of having these two children that are based on an experiment they tried that worked. Like I could see that being a thing, but in the factor of it, if it's just normal for them to do it, like how did the other females in the cult come around? Like, are they all of virgin birth? Like since it's only a female like risen cult, like is that the way this works? Like have all of them been born this way? Is this a normal thing for them? Like I don't have enough explanation of what this cult is. Like I mean, it's a simple question. Like, how did the other females get established? Is it that the factor that these kids so important is because of the fact that they are of forced birth? Like, don't you think that's something that the Jedi want to be like? How did these all gender-driven people that are only able to create birth with another significant other? How did they have children? Did they kidnap these children? Are these children not of their cult and they just grab them from somebody else? Like, is that not something they should be looking at? That a whole cult of females just casually come up with two children that aren't, theirs? Like, would that be enough information for the Jedis to be like, yo, we should probably look this up or at least check this out? Here's an exiled cult of Force users that magically came up with two children out of nowhere. I think we should research this because this could be a kidnapping thing. Could that be a thing?
I don't.
What do you think,
know.
Brian?
I don't think so. I don't think.
You still don't think that's enough?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, if they had intel that there were kids that were missing and they could be on this planet, maybe. But there's literally no reason for them to be on that planet. So I don't know. I think we're going in circles. And to be honest, I mean, I'm not. We've talked the Acolyte into the ground, bro. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say like.
We've been going in circles for the last 30 minutes, so
we're gonna be giving it all the views, bro, just for this conversation.
Yeah, no shit. No, I kind of feel like the episode was all right. For the hype that was built around it, I really don't feel like much. The episode itself really doesn't do anything for the Star Wars lure. It doesn't do anything in a positive nor a negative. It's really just out there. It's kind of like I've said before, like this reminds me of when we were talking about Obi-Wan in the introduction of such of like a strong, important character like Reva, for them just to shoehorn her in out of nowhere and be like, she's important. Like she tried to jump Darth Vader. Like there was a bunch of shit that they tried to pop off and you were like, what the fuck? Like I never heard about this before. Like, why is it they're trying to put it in now? Like it doesn't make sense. But the thing is like, they can just say, well, the reason why you never heard of it is because it's from 100 years ago. It's from 100 years ago. But again, like it doesn't feel like 100 years ago. Like if you were, and this is what I told David earlier, and this is just, imagination and writing. I put this up for whoever's writing it, but like if you were to take any science in our world right now from 100 years ago and bring it to the now time, there would be no way that we don't just recreate that shit super easy. It'd be fucking easy to do because it's just evolution, like scientific evolution. Whatever it is that the Jedis are practicing in this show are the exact same shit they're practicing in the other show. The technology they have is the same technology from the other 100 years. Like, I just feel like it's in, like, you could not tell me, if you were to tell me that this was a week before the fucking prequels or like 100 years before the prequels, I could not fucking tell. I could not tell. And that's, to me, like, that sucks. Like, it's a huge thing. It takes me out of it. It's like, I don't know where it's establishing itself. So that's kind of like my biggest concern about the show is it doesn't have its own identity yet. It doesn't have its own identity in 3 episodes. Brian, what about you? Oh, I don't know if Brian's up. Oh, there
I'm
he's
still here. I think that it's shaping. I got a different
perspective
perspective on this one. I think that they're starting to cook. I think in episode 3 they're starting to cook, and again, they've done enough to make me want to see where this goes.
Okay.
I think that what they've given us so far has been important, and I think that it's going to be important for the rest of the show. So if I'm going to sit there and watch the entire series, then um, I just got to make sure that every episode counts. And so far, every episode has counted, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. David, what about you, man?
I mean, it's entertaining. I hope they don't fuck it up, bro. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm definitely not gonna recommend it. You know what I mean? At least not yet. Not put my name on it in that aspect.
David said something that was very interesting earlier, and I promise you, I'm totally off of Acolyte, to be honest with you. But the rewatch value, this probably does not have any rewatch value, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I like it. I don't know how many times I'm gonna go back.
But just like a kind of like a sit down and chill with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like a one-off, like a one through for me.
Definitely, bro. 100%.
Yeah, one off, one and done. For me, I just really hope like maybe like towards the ending of it, we do get like an introduction of Darth Plagueis. That would make me fucking. I'd be super happy if they introduced Darth Plagueis out of nowhere, because of course like that was his whole thing. Darth Plagueis was this guy that was so involved with understanding like the idea of controlling life and death, and this idea of being able to do like life in this nature is like right down his alley. So like I would like to see them bring Darth Plagueis to it. Will they? I don't think so, but that'd be pretty interesting. We're gonna do a little bit of talk onwards to the next part of the conversation, which is jumping right into probably what Brian wanted to talk about a little bit. We only got a little bit of time left because it's already past 11, but The Boys, dude. The Boys return, season 3, first 3 episodes popped off.
Yes,
Guys, did you get
sir.
to watch it? And what do you guys think, man? Let's get like a good like 10 minutes in this.
Shit.
I know it's probably gonna be a lot more than that, but like David, let's see what you got, man.
I haven't finished season 2, bro. So I'm still on episode
shit.
1.
Oh, you're still on season 2? Oh fuck, dude. Yeah, you're in it.
Sorry. Yeah.
Jeez, you're in it.
But it's
Well,
fucking
okay.
good.
Yeah, it's solid, dude. You're gonna love it, man. You're gonna love it.
I was
Brian,
gonna say I wish I was still in season 2 because shit gets crazy.
yeah, no shit, man. No shit. They really bring it, man. Season, man, dude. Fucking season 2 is dope.
Damn,
Brian,
so
what
we
about you,
really
man? You
can't
got your first 3 episodes in?
Yeah. I watched it, and I'm gonna keep it spoiler free because
Okay.
David has.
No, you can spoil it, bro. I'm down.
No,
I'm cool with it.
I think it would be cool if we kind of like we could save it for next week. We can save a little bit more. We'll get into it because we don't have a lot of time to jump into it.
So I liked it. I watched all 3. All 3 episodes are about an hour long, so
Yep.
buckle in. I liked it. I think that they're pushing the envelope even more if that's even possible.
Yeah.
This show is extremely woke. And I hate even saying the word woke because it doesn't have the same meaning that it was originally meant to be. Like, it was supposed to be meant as like a,
satire, right?
state, honestly, if I'm gonna be totally honest with you, it started in like the Black community with like the hashtag stay woke, and then it mutated into whatever the fuck it is now. But yeah, for conversational purposes, we'll just call it woke. And yeah, they're definitely going for it in this one. They're making blatant meta commentary to what we're dealing with in today's society. And I think that they are making fun of the left, they're making fun of the right, they're making fun of conservatives, they're making fun of liberals. I think Homelander is by far the most interesting character in this season so far.
That he's ever been.
Than he's ever been. But specifically in this season, 3 episodes in, he's the main one that I'm looking forward to see what happens with him. Not so much the son. The son's a little annoying. What's the other guy's name? Fuck, why am I blanking?
Huey?
No, not Huey. Fuck Huey.
Butcher?
Yeah. So between Butcher and Homelander, that little,
trifecta.
that whole thing, to me, that's the story. Everything else that's going on in The Boys, I can really give a shit less about. I could give a fuck less about, to be honest with you. That is the story. The Butcher and Homelander thing, that's the story.
Yeah, I kind of feel like in the same format. Like I kind of feel like everything's kind of revolving about their that's the primary story that everything's kind of like surrounding, and everything else is kind of like just extra. But yeah, I feel like I mean you're hitting it right on the button when it comes to like all the political jargon is there. I think it's the most it's ever been in this season compared to the way it was in the first previous ones. Um, and it's kind of like it's supposed to be a satire, and at moments when it gets a little bit too serious, it's kind of like oh fuck, like that's kind of a little too on the nail, like too on the nose or whatever. Like that's kind of going on in actual society. And that's when I kind of get like, oh man, do we really need this much? But it's not enough to really like take me out of it. It's kind of enough just to keep me entertained and keep me like pressured in, right? So like there's a really good balance of what it is that they're doing in the show. I kind of feel like this is like a little less extreme in the sense of what the characters are being pushed to do, but like in the background, there's a bunch of crazy shit happening at all times. Like you look at like the con scene, right? When they're at that event or expo, you look at
Yeah,
you look at the way the actions of Homelander when he's doing like examples like the A Train and the Deep situation. Like you kind of like remember that this show like has like a very like over the top like grotesqueness to it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then all of a sudden it pulls back and it's like, nah, we're not gonna do that. Like there was the one about the expo, like that was like, oh man, I don't need to see this because most of those people, I used to watch them on Supernatural, like on television shows that were like for 13 and 18-year-old teenage girls that go gaga over these two like heartthrob boys. And now there's like a whole scene where you're just seeing some like fucking wieners and like all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, like, and then it kind of puts you back into perspective. Like these guys are actors and these kind of things is what they're in the profession to do. You know what I mean?
Chris, you like seeing wieners, bro.
No, that fucked me up, bro. That was a way out of fucking character for me to want to be in. I was like, God damn it, dude, really? Then that was a dude from Supernatural that played God. Like that was
You
the
whipped
God.
Shut up. You whipped out the lube when that scene came out, bro.
No, I'm not about it, bro. I'm not about it at all. Rob would have been like best show ever, man. Vicky would have been like best show ever. 10 out of 10. Fucking 10 out of 10.
Yo, let me ask you a question. What do you think of Sister Sage?
I think she's all right. I think you need a character like that in a show like this. I think she's a good balance for all the bullshit that they made Homelander do. And I like her bland charisma. Like it's kind of like it doesn't take it's almost like she knows she's in a shitty television show with a bunch of stupid fucking heroes. She's like, "Are you fucking serious? Like, do you not know what this means? Like, come on, get with the fucking program." Like she's not afraid to speak her mind, and I fucking dig that. What do you think about her?
I think the scene with Homelander and Sister Sage in her apartment was probably the best scene so far in all 3 episodes. The way that she's able to read people is fucking awesome.
Phenomenal, yeah.
It's almost as if like she was writing the show and knew everything about everybody and just told them about themselves to make them just completely surrender and not question anything that she has to say.
It kind of makes you wonder why they didn't go that way in the first place, right? Like have a person like that in the group.
Yeah, and I thought that part that you just said right now is interesting. The fact that they had this whole list of soups they wanted to pick for the team, and Homelander went straight to her. Out of all the fucking, she really doesn't have any superpowers besides being super smart.
Being fucking super smart.
Yeah, and he's like, no, we need that. Like, we need that to get our agenda done. Because clearly there is an agenda. If you've been watching all 3 episodes, there is an agenda, and Homelander he figured out how to do it. So he's willing to put up with her lip for now in order to get that done. And she's been making it. She's been executing. So he won't kill her so soon.
Yeah, true that. I've been digging the show. I think they're doing a fantastic job. I am not a big fan of the character design for Mother's Milk. I think it's a fucking travesty. They shaved his beard. His face looks like thinly.
He said that he lost weight. He was overweight.
You could tell, man.
He was unhealthy, so he made a conscious effort to lose weight. Everyone was talking about it, so he put out a statement saying, "Everybody relax. It's just I wanted to lose weight," and so
yeah,
that's what that is.
And I was kind of like, that was like you know what? Like, fuck, it catches me so heavy now. Every time I see an actor in that type of like template or situation, it always reminds me of Chadwick Boseman. So like, I always like retain my like opinions on being like, oh, fuck that guy. Look, he looks like, no, I'm like, no, there's like, I wonder if something is wrong. Like I automatically go to that conception, like where it's like, damn, dude, like he looked a lot thinner than normal. And it was like worrying because man, he was my first choice for Blue Marvel. Like, and he still sits as that choice. But like, I was like, man, he's lost so much weight. Like, kind of made me consider like, has the show been going on for that long? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like there's been like a lot of years in between the first season and this season. But
well, just in between the last season and this season, I think it's been 2 years.
yeah.
So
you know,
people,
it kind of like it startled me a little bit because I hadn't seen I didn't even know the show was dropping this past week, to tell you the truth. So like I was so like, fuck yeah, dude. Like here I am watching this fucking shit Star Wars show and The Boys is out. Like I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna watch The Boys. So like it was, and we're gonna get more information and more fun out of The Boys. I already knew it was gonna be a hoot. You know what I mean? But like when I saw him, I was kind of like, oh no, dude. I hope this guy's okay. Like this doesn't like, he doesn't look healthy. He doesn't look healthy. So like to hear that, yeah, he did put out a statement. That's like, well, I hope he's all right. Like, what did it say he had or whatnot?
what do you mean?
Like in the sense of like a health reason or health wise.
There's nothing wrong with him. He just wanted to lose weight. He's overweight.
He did to lose weight.
Oh, he just wanted to lose weight. Damn.
Yeah,
Fuck, he lost a lot. Well, he lost a lot of weight.
He just said everybody needs to relax. I was just overweight. I was unhealthy, and I wanted to lose weight so I can stay, cool and healthy.
Okay.
And that's what he did.
Well, cool. Like, all right. Well, good on him, I guess, for being in health. But man, he lost a lot of weight. He looked kind of like, I was kind of worried. But well, fuck it. Well, good. I mean, as long as he's healthy, that's all I care about. But yeah. So far so good. Episode 3. I don't know how many episodes we're going to be getting out of The Boys this season, but it looks pretty sharp. I'm having a good time. Episode 3 is really fun. A lot better than the episodes that we've been getting for Star Wars, I'll tell you that much. So they're giving me more information and all this other stuff in them 3 episodes. So I would consider The Boys good writing. Star Wars not as well. But what do you guys feel? How do you guys feel like right now about The Boys? David? David, you haven't seen it, right?
He hasn't seen it.
I haven't finished season 2, bro, but The Boys is good, bro, regardless. I mean, it's fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
definitely
it's nothing. It hasn't changed. It's the same shit. It's just another season of it. I think they're gonna start wrapping shit up because they put out a statement saying that the next season is gonna be the final season. So they're gonna start wrapping this shit up. I think that this actually might even be more of a filler season, just to get us to this next season.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, guys, highly recommended. Amazon Prime, if you guys haven't seen it. The Boys season 3 just dropped this past week. 3 episodes are available. If you get a chance, go check them out. Highly recommended. Brian, I know you're out there in the world doing your thing. I hope you've been good. I hope you enjoyed your Father's Day.
Yes, sir.
I want to say thank you, man, for jumping on. I know it's always like you usually have like a busy Sunday, so I appreciate you, my man.
Of course, man. I told you if I can get the time, I'm here, man.
True that. Appreciate you. Everything else going good?
Yeah, man. Everything's good, dude. Had a great day.
Excellent. Well, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate every one of you, to our extraordinary listeners. Thank you guys for jumping in. David, let these people know where they can find you. Adam Collections, what's been going on with your podcast? Jump it real quick, man.
So right now, guys, with the new retail job, pre-recorded podcast, but they're going to be dumped at 8:00 on Fridays. StreamYard has free AI clips now, so it gives me a few free clips that I'll post. But besides that, we're going to go into season 3 of the podcast, which is going to focus more on entrepreneurship. So I'm going to bring in like small business owners, food, services, things like that. A little more education than entertainment for season 3. But besides that, man, that's it, man. The next convention I got coming up is going to be United Collectors Expo on the 15th or 27th. I forgot what it is. But that's it.
Yo, I highly recommend a pre-recorded episode of you and fucking Brian, dude. Brian, you should make that shit happen, dude.
Pre-recording
Yeah,
Oh,
because
you said me?
David's doing pre-recorded episodes right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys should set it up and do a fucking episode. You haven't done one solo, have you? Brian? You haven't done an episode solo with David, have you? Oh, I don't know if you can hear me.
I
But
think
David, he
like,
hasn't
no, he
done it
hasn't.
with you, right?
He's probably like, fuck that guy. No, I'm just kidding.
He's gonna be like, nah, fuck David.
He's like, fuck David,
Oh, you
bro.
guys should totally set one up, man. I think that would be a fucking baller show because, dude, you and him sitting there talking about fucking business.
Acolyte? No, I'm just kidding.
There you are, Brian.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Yeah. No. Okay. So yeah. No, I have not done an episode with David. Listen, I'll do an episode with anybody. You know, I love to talk shit and I just love to talk. So I'll do an episode with anybody about anything.
Yo, that would be so dope. I think that would be a baller episode. I really do. And then for you guys to sit there and do business talks and shit, I would eat that shit up in a heartbeat.
No, put your that's
Set it up, boys. Set it up. But I want to say to all of you people out there, to all our extraordinary listeners, we appreciate every one of you. Thank you guys for tuning in with us every Sunday. If you get a chance and you watch YouTube videos and you like music, I need to even tell Brian this. You guys need to watch this group. It's called XG. They have a song called Woke Up. You guys need to watch that shit. That song is dope. I know we haven't done a music talk in a while. XG Woke Up. It's a K-pop, J-pop group, and they did a whole rap song, and it is
K-pop, doing
bro,
rap.
Brian, you're
Bro,
gonna
you need to
fucking,
knock it
you're gonna
off.
be so confused watching that.
You need to be locked up. Like
You're gonna be
seriously.
so confused. You're gonna hit me up. You're gonna be like, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
now I know why you wanted to watch it. Now I see why.
XG Woke Up.
Yeah,
XG Woke Up.
I promise you.
You won't
I promise
fucking
you.
you'll totally thank me later.
1000% won't be thanking you later. And if I do talk to you about this, it's not going to be friendly. So
It's gonna be awesome. You fucking watch. You're gonna be like, "Holy shit, I didn't expect that."
listen.
XG Woke Up. Just watch that shit.
I'm never watching that. I'm
You're
never
gonna watch it.
watching.
I'm gonna make you watch it.
a
I had to
K-pop.
watch Velma. You can give me this one.
That was on your own. That's on your own doings. I'm not selectively. I'm not doing that.
XG Woke Up. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys again here. Thank you again, Brian. Thank you again, David. And thank you to everybody out there. Nico, too. Nico had to leave early. Thank you, Nico, when you're out there. I appreciate you, man, all the time. Guys, make sure you have a good week. Get out there and kick ass. Do your grind. Appreciate you. And we hope you have a great rest of the week. And yeah, we'll see you guys again here next Sunday, 8 p.m. Don't forget Adam Collectibles. Friday nights, 8 p.m. Guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Peace out. Laters.